MVP Sebastian Latou and the Seattle Sounders won the USL regular season and are now 1 win away from completing the sweep, something no team has done in the past. League MVP Sebastian Latou and the Seattle Sounders won the USL regular season and are now 1 win away from completing the sweep, something no team has done in the past 8 years. Scoring champ Dan Antoniuk and the Atlanta Silverbacks led the league in goals. Their last goal is to win their first league title. The USL 1 championship is next. For the second time in 3 years, the USL First Division final will be decided in Seattle. 2 years ago, we were at Quest Field. Tonight, the venue, Starfire Sports Complex. Well, after 404 goals, 180 games, and 26 weeks, the USL First Division season is now down to the last 2 teams. Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Bell. I'm your host for the pregame show. Let's take a closer look at those 2 teams. First, Seattle, playing in their 3rd championship in the last 4 seasons. Clearly the dominant team in the year of this league, as they've only lost twice in their last 18 games. Look at the semis, though. A great run by the Puerto Rico Islanders was stopped in PKs. Great stuff by the Islanders this year, but denied from the penalty kick spot as Seattle advances to the championship. And then Portland, another great season they had. First year, Gavin Wilkinson, coach of the year, but Portland gets denied in PKs as well. From one coach of the year to another, let's join Bobby Howe on the sideline.
Thank you very much, Steve. I think one of the big keys of tonight's game is how Atlanta responds to Seattle's potent offense. The creativity of Leighton O'Brien in midfield, the wide play and crossing ability of Alcaraz, Cuellar and Gardner, and also the mobility of the 2 front players from Seattle, Latou and Levesque. I also think another big key of the game is the effectiveness of both teams at set plays. Back to you, Steve.
Thanks, Bobby. Well, 2 great coaches in this game. They both have a lot of respect for each other. We caught up with them moments ago on their thoughts on this biggest game of the year.
Going into the final, you just got to get them prepared mentally more than physically. At this stage of the season, you're not going to gain any fitness. I just want them to be mentally sharp. We will play the exact same as we have for the last month and a half. The streak, the amount of games that we've come out and won speaks for itself.
You can say it's another game just like any other game, but it's not. It's a final. I don't think I'm going to have to say too much to the fellas. I think they're very excited to be here and eager to get on the field. So, you know, a couple little words of wisdom hopefully to them, and then they should be ready to go.
Atlanta head coach Jason Smith sporting the playoff beard there. He brought the shaving kit with him. 2 coaches that had a great season. Let's now join 2 other members of the broadcast for the call, Andrew Bell and Paul Dolan.
Thanks, Steve. We're excited to be here for the championship game. As you can see, it's raining. The temperature dropped this afternoon. It should make for a slick and hopefully exciting conditions. It's going to be a fast-paced match. Alongside me, the former goalkeeper with the Canadian men's national team, Mr. Paul Dolan. Paul, your thoughts ahead of the big match?
Well, much has been said about the vaunted attacks of the 2 teams. Atlanta leading the regular season in goals scored with 40, and Seattle not far behind, and so they should be. Both teams very good offensively. But don't forget, Atlanta shut out the Portland Timbers last week in Portland through 90 minutes of regulation and the 30-minute minigame, and then won it in the penalty kick. So very good defensively. Their goalkeeper has been fantastic, Ryan McIntosh, throughout the playoffs, and so is Chris Islander in the Seattle goal. And Seattle's always had a very balanced defense. So I think we will see a very good balanced game between attack and defense from both teams.
All right, Paul, thank you. We'll be back in just a little while. Right now, we're going to hand it back to Steve Bell.
Thanks so much, guys. It's time for us to take our first break. But when we come back, a sit-down conversation with Vice President Tim Holt, his thoughts on the league and about the rumors about a team going to the MLS. But first, a look back at a key play in USL on Fox Soccer Channel. Mike Burke with the back heel, and Schramm puts it in for Richmond in the USL 2 final. Harrisburg went on to win the championship.
This program is brought to you by Advanced Green, innovative products that range from saving you money to saving the planet, only at Canadian Tire.
For years, I focused on just wrinkles. Now I fight the look of what can age me most.
It's a definite. Breakthrough Olay Definity Foam fights the look of what can age you most. Discoloration, brown spots, plus wrinkles.
The dark ages of fighting just the look of wrinkles are history.
For luminous, highly defined skin, Olay Definity Foam. Definitely love the skin you're in.
Okay, the song goes, nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Nausea.
Diarrhea. Expectorismo.
When it comes to the relief of these stomach problems, all you need to know is
Is the shade you bought not the one you thought? Here's the one you should have got, True Blend. CoverGirl True Blend foundations and pressed powders match 97% of skin tones, so you just can't miss. True Blend matches so seamlessly, you don't know where your makeup ends and your own skin begins. We guarantee it, or your money back. And now, with True Blend blushes and bronzers, your total look is always true to you. True Blend can't miss makeup from easy breezy, beautiful CoverGirl.
It may look like an ordinary white strip, but this new strip works in just 5 minutes to give you a brighter, more beautiful smile every day.
Introducing Crest White Strips Daily Multi-Care. It works in 3 ways. 1, it removes surface stains. 2, whitens by deep cleaning. 3, it protects against the buildup of everyday stains.
This is the brightest 5 minutes of my day.
Satisfaction guaranteed. New Crest White Strips Daily Multi-Care.
Want to make your home feel noticeably fresh? Take the Febreze 7-Day Challenge. First, put away those other freshening products. Then, for the next 7 days, make Febreze part of your tidy-up routine. Many of the surfaces in your home are soft surfaces that can hold on to odors. Febreze finds those odors and cleans them away as it dries. Take the Febreze 7-Day Challenge to eliminate odors and freshen fabrics, guaranteed or your money back. Go ahead, spray on, freshness lovers, spray on.
If you don't want facial treatments with sharp instruments, try this premium moisturizing tool.
New Olay Regenerist Microsculpting Cream. It hydrates for firmer looking skin to regenerate skin's appearance even across the jawline.
Under the knife? Not on your life.
For you, there's new Olay Regenerist Microsculpting Cream. Love the skin you're in.
7 USL 1 Championship on Fox Soccer Channel from Seattle, Washington is being brought to you by Sprinter, the smart choice in synthetic turf systems. By Umbro, wherever there is soccer, there is Umbro. By USL Live, watch USL First Division matches live and on demand at USLLive.com. USLLive.com, the new way to see your sport. By 90 Minutes Soccer Magazine, the choice of people who know the game. And by USLsoccer.com. Get the latest scores, standings, and news by visiting USL's official website, USLsoccer.com. We are back here in Seattle, Washington for the championship of the 2007 First Division season. The fans are here and they are ready to go. They have packed it in. Be sure to catch Fox Football Phone In Tuesday, October 2nd, 8 p.m. Eastern on Fox Soccer Channel. Well, there is a myth that Seattle is one of the rainiest cities in the country. It's actually not true. They're not even in the top 30. You wouldn't know that from the weather right here. Another championship and another rainy day. Well, I'm now joined by Vice President of the United Soccer Leagues, Tim Holt. Tim, fantastic here again in the USL. A lot of top things happened. W League Championship, the PDL Championship, but maybe one of the biggest highlights I thought was the success in the Open Cup run.
Yeah, USL teams had a great run in the Open Cup this year. Certainly we'd prefer to have 2 teams playing in the final or a team playing in the final next week, but 4 teams in the quarterfinals, 2 in the semifinals, both lost in overtime. 6 MLS teams knocked off by USL professional teams. It's been a great run. You know, we think it's a great competition. We're not surprised that our teams have done so well in it, and I think going forward, from a competitive standpoint, if there was a competitive reward in the Open Cup, the event would grow in terms of its prestige and importance, something like qualification directly into the CONCACAF Champions Cup.
Fantastic year. Again, Seattle, great place for soccer. I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up the rumors. Sports Illustrated reporting that within 2 weeks, as early as 2 weeks, Seattle could be named as an MLS team. Your comments?
Well, yeah, you know, we've seen all the same media reports. We speak with the Seattle Sounders owners on a daily basis. And, you know, I think at this point, point, what we do know is that nothing's determined, nothing's cast in stone with respect to the MLS Seattle situation. We don't know the status of the USL First Division Seattle Sounders for next year, for 2008 and beyond. But more important than that, Steve, out of respect for the players and coaches that have worked so hard for 7 months to get to the finals, our focus this weekend has been on the championship. We got a huge crowd. They're making a lot of noise. It's going to be a lot of fun. Two great teams, and that's what we're choosing to focus on. There'll be plenty of time in the weeks and months ahead to focus on the other stuff.
No doubt about it. Two great teams here tonight. And one of the best things about the USL First Division, no one knew who was going to be here in the final at the end. I mean, a lot of great play from top to bottom.
Yeah, parity would be the word that you would use from a competitive standpoint, and that's not a bad thing. A lot of people equate parity to mediocrity. That's not been the case. There's not a huge difference between the two teams that are out here and everyone else in the 12-team league. And I think, again, more importantly, going forward, we've got 8 to 10 committed ownership groups in our league that are fully committed to elevating the league, taking it forward, and over the next 10 years, making this league, the USL First Division, a viable alternative for not only the best players in the United States, the best young players, but players internationally. And we think we're well on our way to doing that.
Another fantastic year in the United Soccer Leagues. Thanks so much for your time. Tim Holt, we are moments away from the kickoff in this one. We'll be back with that. But first, we talked a little bit about upsets in the championship game. Let's look at some of these numbers. The curse of the #1 seed, last 8 USL 1 champions. The #1 seed has not been able to do it. It's been the #4 seed, and guess what? We've got a #4 seed tonight. The Atlanta Silverbacks are the 4 seed, 4 titles from the #4 seed in the last 6 champions. Will we have another tonight? We'll be back, and I'll be joined by Andrew Bell and Paul Dolan for the call. But before we do, let's take another look at a highlight on Fox Soccer Channel as part of the United Soccer Leagues. Charleston playing host to Atlanta. Look at the tic-tac-toe passing. One touch. Scott Pugh finds the back of the net at Blackbaud Stadium. Great build-up from this Atlanta Silverbacks team as they get the goal. Will they get the win in the final tonight? Stay tuned.
This program is brought to you by Advanced Green, innovative products that range from saving you money to saving the planet, only at Canadian Tire.
Is the shade you bought not the one you thought? Here's the one you should have got, True Blend. CoverGirl True Blend foundations and pressed powders match 97% of skin tones, so you just can't miss. True Blend matches so seamlessly, you don't know where your makeup ends and your own skin begins. We guarantee it, or your money back. And now, with True Blend blushes and bronzers, your total look is always true to you. True Blend can't miss makeup from easy breezy, beautiful CoverGirl.
Our new Gain detergent has been surprising quite a few people lately. That's because we've added a hint of fabric softener, so your clothes smell great and feel so touchable. Maybe too touchable. New Gain Touch of Softness detergent makes clothes feel as good as they smell.
Do you want strong, tight, sexy abs, but everything you've tried is just too hard?
Now there's an easier way to get the abs you've dreamed of. Slender Tone is the technology breakthrough that you've been waiting for. And so revolutionary, it's the first ab belt ever to be cleared for sale by the FDA. Slender Tone is so simple to use. Peel the covers off the reusable gel pads, wrap the belt around your waist, and you're ready to go. Then Slender Tone does the work. It exercises your abs with signals that contract and relax your muscles, similar to doing ab crunches. Watch Slender Tone work these muscles. Clinical studies prove Slender Tone delivers results.
We saw a 49% increase in abdominal strength and a 72% increase in abdominal endurance, which are phenomenal results. And every single subject, 100% of the subjects, said that their abs felt more toned and firm after using the Slender Tone for 8 weeks.
Using the Slender Tone, I'm able to completely work my entire midsection, my obliques, my entire six-pack is getting worked.
To have something work so well so quickly, it was nice.
You can have firmer, stronger, sexy abs starting in as little as 2 weeks, and real results in just 4 to 8 weeks, guaranteed.
Call now to try Slender Tone for 30 days for only 4 easy payments of $39.95. This offer is not available in stores. You've got absolutely nothing to lose. If you're not happy with the results after 30 days, we'll refund your money guaranteed. When you order, you'll receive the patented Slender Tone Flex. 3 gel pads, batteries, belt extender, and to help you get started quickly and see results faster, we'll include the Quick Start Guide, Flex Training Manual, and our instructional DVD. Plus, we'll also include a handy travel bag, a $20 value free, so you can take your Slender Tone Flex with you anywhere, anytime. Now there are 3 convenient ways to order your Slender Tone Flex. Have your credit card ready and call the toll-free number on your screen, or visit us at innerwood.com and place your order there. You can also send a check or money order to Slender Tone Flex, P.O. Box 218, Station K, Toronto, Ontario, M4P 2G5. Order now.
Seattle. Welcome back to the Starfire Complex just outside Seattle. Andrew Bell alongside Paul Dolan and Steve Bell. As we see the conditions here, but I don't think it'll affect the teams tonight. Paul, let's have a look at the starting lineup for the Seattle Sounders.
Well, Danny Jackson makes his way back into the lineup after serving his red card suspension against Puerto Rico. And the midfield general there, Leighton O'Brien, the number 7, watch for him to set up the plays for Letou and Levesque. Letou, the MVP this year of USL Division 1.
If he has to make an attacking change, I would expect Greg Howes to come in first, Paul. But really, the way that Seattle have been playing, I mean, I should think he's very confident with his starting 11.
Howes, who scored the first penalty in the penalty kick shootout against Puerto Rico. As you look at the Atlanta lineup there, that's also a 4-4-2. And Ryan McIntosh, he was huge in the game against Portland, made a big save in regulation and then a couple of saves in the penalty kick shootout. Warren Oka makes his way into the starting lineup in place of Dan Antoniak.
Yeah, I suppose Antoniak, the big surprise, not getting the nod tonight because he was a candidate for the MVP award.
And he was the leading scorer this year with 7 goals and 9 assists. He led in that category with 9 assists, but he and Anthony Wolf will be the men that they can rely on to come in off the bench if they need some attacking players.
Antoniak, Revio, they'll be the ones that I expect to come in. Maybe Wolf if he needs to get after the game, but we'll see how it develops. The team's about ready to go. Atlanta just below us, huddled together as we look forward to this USL First Division Championship game. Seattle, the home side, just coming off, stretching it out, getting ready. There you see the officials just checking the last few things before we get underway. Atlanta, of course, had to come out here to the West Coast last week and got the job done on penalties to earn a spot in this championship game.
Well, both teams going to the penalty kick shootout to get here, and both the keepers coming up big. And in the case of the Seattle Sounders, they were 4 for 4 on their shots. They won it 4-2. And the Silverbacks missed on their first shot and then scored 3 in a row to defeat Portland.
All right, here we go. It looks like Atlanta are going to be defending. Seattle will have the ball once we get underway, I believe.
One key thing to look at this as well, obviously Seattle's got the home field advantage, guys, but they play most of their games at Quest Field, have not played very many, had a couple exhibition games, and of course the playoff run earlier, but a field they're very comfortable playing at.
Well, in fact, they haven't lost at Crossfire. They did lose the mini game last weekend here, but in regulation and playoff, they have never lost here at this surface.
Seattle launch it forward from the get-go. Sort of a shot there that'll put Atlanta on the immediate back foot. I don't think you're going to trouble McIntosh from that kind of distance. McIntosh, of course, came into the lineup replacing Quintero after the first part of the season, and he'll play it out to the left side. Here's Hayes now for Atlanta. Drives it forward, looking for the flick on. Kanji leans in. Seattle get it up, but not fully away. And Atlanta, they look to get it wide, but it's taken away by Seattle, and away we come now with Seattle down the right side. Chip forward for Levesque. Now Letou, the MVP, top of the 18, he goes to ground. Play on, says the referee. Seattle maintain possession. Out to Correa, and tries to drive it across. It's blocked by Atlanta. Jeroen, the big center half, comes and heads it clear.
Not half big, 6'4". He was solid in the back last week against Portland. He cleared one off the line to keep that game scoreless at one point.
Seattle recycle across the back, now up into the middle. Out to the right side, Sakuda. And then across to Jackson Atlanta. Patient here as Seattle try and build down this left side now. Well in there, Lancaster, got the tackle in. It's still with the Sounders. Is the skipper Jackson, Steve.
Yeah, talking with Jason Smith earlier this week, he said one of the keys that he wants to have his team do, no big risks in the first 10-15 minutes in this game. Obviously, Seattle with the home field advantage, they're going to come out flying. He wants to play really low-risk soccer to start it out, and you can sense that right away. They're dropping back, giving a little bit of room.
Graham brings it to the halfway line. Out to Gardner, for touch, and Kanji gets a touch now for Atlanta. Chips down the line for Millwood. Millwood tackled. It'll be a throw-in for Atlanta. Down towards the byline there. This portion of the broadcast is being brought to you by Sprint Turf. Sprint Turf is the smart choice in synthetic turf systems. So throw in Atlanta. Deep inside the Seattle half. Oka back to Lancaster, gets around the midfielder. The flag is raised by the linesman, and that's going to bring up the first attack and set piece of the game.
Well, Steve mentioned that Atlanta wants to think defense first, but it's not in their nature, is it? They're the leading team in terms of goals scored with 40 this year, and they're on the attack now. They've got the big bodies pushed forward. Michelle Millwood, 6'3", Jeroen, 6'4", Kanji, 6'5" at the back post. So look for them to knock this one at the far post.
Yeah, in Seattle, one of the things they want to do is not give up the fouls like this. I'm sure Brian Smets are not happy with that early foul.
Hayes will whip it in, so an in-swinger from the left midfielder. He's got the big boys to aim at in the box. Here's the delivery to the back post, looking for Kanji. It's flicked away by Seattle rather. And Atlanta will try and get it back across. Oh, it's nicked away, and Seattle, can they counter-attack here? Free kick Seattle as Kanji came across him, and he's going to get a talking to from the referee.
Almost had a color that matched his shoes there with that foul.
Very deliberate with the bring down as Seattle work it out to the left side. Here's Zach Scott. Again, Lancaster in with a nice touch clearance. And now Butte rolls it back to the centre half, Jeroen. Out to Hayes on the left. Here's Rios. Forward for Oka to try and hold it up, but it's nicked away by Trishuk. Now Gardner. Out to Levesque on the far side. It's just too high for the striker, so a throw-in for Atlanta. Jeroen plays it to the halfway line. Seattle gather it back up. And still Seattle with Trishuk. Back to Jackson. The young man from Yorkshire, England. Taylor Graham. Gardner's touch was poor, and Butte in quickly to nick it away. Given away by Atlanta. Uea. Back in the center circle, tries to play it around the corner. That's not a bad ball. Rios across to defend. And Seattle work it forward here. Given away again. It's just a bit scrappy here at the start.
We saw a lot of movement from the Seattle midfield there. Leighton O'Brien, who sets camp around the center circle, but Alcaraz Cuellar coming on the inside of the park, as was Josh Gardner. So you'll see a lot of movement from there as you look at the head coach of the Atlanta Silverbacks, Jason Smith, who spent many years at Piedmont College before making the jump to USL.
Terrific season for Jason Smith as Hayes switches it to Lancaster. And now Kanji on the right side. His touch will find touch. That'll bring up a throw-in for Seattle. O'Brien back to Graham. And now Jackson. Drives it forward, looking for Levesque, who might get on the shoulder of Jeroen. It's punched away, or batted away, really, by McIntosh. It's going to be a deep throw-in for Seattle.
I think the Sounders are exposing the lack of pace from Jeroen there, as Levesque got to it first. Highlander, I thought, was in no man's land, but he ended up getting the hands to it.
Good early ball forward. It tested Atlanta. And now we'll have a long throw, I would think, from the far side. Looking for Graham at the near post. He has to play it back towards the thrower. That'll be another throw for Seattle as they edge closer to the Atlanta goal. Cool, damp evening in Seattle. There's the throw into the near post. It's flicked on, bouncing dangerously towards the 6-yard box, and McIntosh with a super throw out to the halfway line. Millwood goes to ground. Play on, says the referee. Kanji cuts back onto his left foot, leaves it for Millwood, tries to slip it through, and sliding challenge for Seattle as they're happy just to clear out to this near side.
How about the play on the other side of McIntosh? So the speed, talking with Jason Smith, he said he's one of the 5 fastest players on this Atlanta team in the nets there, and you saw the great distribution, the long throw to start that counterattack, which Atlanta likes to rely on.
I called him McIntosh, or Islander, but yeah, it was McIntosh. He's had a couple of uneasy moments in the early going. The shot right from the kickoff, and then that one, but he did come out quickly to parry it away.
Levesque. Touch just a little off target. It's won back by Atlanta. Lancaster square to Jeroen. Up to Rios. Dispossessed. Has to tackle back. And then it's launched clear by Jeroen. Bobo rather. Hayes keeps it in play as Atlanta try and build down the left channel. Rios again is touched just off a little bit. Not like him.
Rios probably the most skillful player with his feet in the Atlanta midfield. Had a strong game against Portland.
Bobo for Atlanta. Lancaster chipping forward for Oka. Nice ball inside to Millwood. He'll set it out to the left. Rios down the line for Millwood. Drives it across. That's dangerous. It flashes across the face of the goal. And that'll be a goal kick.
Yeah, Millwood, one of those guys that can disappear for a while. No one knows where he's going. You forget about him. And just like that, he's behind the defense, can make things happen.
They had 7 shots on goal in the game in Atlanta against Portland. He was all over the park, hit the crossbar late in that game. As you mentioned, Steve, he's a fella who has all sorts of skill and is a big man to hit as well as a target guy.
Away from Islander. Flicked on by Seattle. Jeroen, great header away to the halfway line. Now Correa slips it into Levesque. That just a little late it was. The flag over there raised. The referee saw it. So an attacking free kick now for Seattle from the far side. Looks like they want to get it going quickly. Played into the near post. Levesque tackled away. And there's a strike that hits an Atlanta player. And the Silverbacks bring it away to the halfway line. Just a little under hit, but it's played over the top, and now Oka will chase. Seattle clear again to the halfway line. It should be able to build now. On the right side, Correa. Back to Jackson. Here's Taylor Graham. And Correa. Back to Jackson again. Now Scott. As Lancaster gets on the end of an errant pass, top of the 18. The right back, battling away. Inside, Islander comes and does well there to get there ahead of the forward. This portion of the game brought to you by Umbro. Wherever there is soccer, there is Umbro.
Great goalkeeping from Islander here as Lancaster, without any options, just swings it across the face of goal, and he gets there just in time ahead of Oka. Oka, who is huge, especially from the hips down. He's a big man.
So much for conservative, by the way. The right back Lancaster pushing all the way forward. Jason Smith just screaming at him. Push back, get back there, get goal side now.
O'Brien to Levesque. Levesque dispossessed. Latuing quickly to win it back. Trishuk. Out to the right side. intricate from Seattle. And again, there's a foul, and it'll be another free kick for Atlanta, for Seattle rather, deep in the Atlanta half.
And the pitch here at Starfire, not the longest in the league, only just over 100 yards, so a lot of end-to-end action in the early going, and a pretty bright start in the first 10 minutes here.
Correa and Gardner over there. Probably be Gardner, you'd think. O'Brien also could take it, I suppose, potentially. They do send up the big man from the back for this, as Coach Smith looks on. Taylor Graham there, lurking at the back post. And it's driven in low, it's deflected around the corner and across the byline by David Hayes, which will bring up the first corner kick of the match for the Seattle Sounders.
Like the idea, though. Keep it low, wet surface, the ball's going to skip, make some problems, they win the corner.
Again, the left footer, Gardner, over to take it. Lifts his right arm, here it comes. Swept into the back post, headed away by Atlanta. Not fully clear though. Back across, Hayes with a good jump clearance. Oh, nice touch there, but Atlanta should get it away. There's a foul, and that'll be a free kick for Atlanta inside the box. As the challenge coming in just a little bit late.
Very quick is Gardner, and then corner kick, he took the inside of the back post, just missed there by Zach Scott, who was coming to the back post. McIntosh was nowhere. Let's have another look at the foul there. And you see the rain coming down. It's perfect conditions really for the players. They love this type of field condition and weather. Nice and cool for them.
Hayes drives it forward. Well in by Taylor Graham. Now Treshuk. Scott on the left. Patient build-up from Seattle as Graham goes out to the right side. Now Jackson for Seattle. Driven ball out to Scott. Scott will play it forward, looking for Letou, the Frenchman. Can't control that pass. It's going to be a throw-in for Atlanta. About level with that 18-yard box.
But the emergence of Letou this year for Seattle, they seem to just find ways to fill those voids. Mikel Galendo, obviously the year before, Cam Weaver, they just get more and more stars to replace ones that move on, and Letou, just dominant performance this year in the USL First Division.
Nice trick from Kanji there as he almost dribbles out of the box. That's played over the top for Millward. Has he got the pace to get round Taylor Graham? He goes to ground, looks at the referee, but he was never going to get a decision there.
Well, the Atlanta bench were asking questions for sure. And I think you're right there, Andrew, that the referee's never going to give that, although he wants to have a talk now with Leighton O'Brien, who seems to be struggling with a groin injury. And that would be a huge blow for the Sounders, their midfield general having to go off. He was injured at the start of the year as well.
Just come across for a word with Coach Smetsa. I'm not sure he's going to be able to continue, you know. We'll see. I'm sure he's going to want to continue playing, whether that's in the best interest of Seattle or not. Coach Smetsa will make that decision. Islander drops it out of the 18-yard box. Leans in and drives it forward. Hayes with a snap header to the halfway line. Now, Letou. Levesque dispossessed. And the clearance from Hayes takes the deflection, and it'll be a throw-in for the Atlanta Silverbacks as O'Brien comes back onto the field.
Look at David Hayes there, who was the defender of the year in USL First Division. And he's contributed offensively too. Tied with the team lead in goals for with 7. Tied with Dan Antoniuk. Takes a lot of the set plays. But he is a solid player on both sides of the ball.
O'Brien beaten in the air then as Gardner. Nice touch out to the right side. Hammered away by Atlanta, who will force Seattle to start again from deep inside their half. A quarter of an hour gone here. It's Seattle Sounders 0, Atlanta Silverbacks 0. Watching the USL First Division Championship game. Jeroen heads clear for Atlanta. And now controls on the chest. Tries to drive it in behind. Put some pressure on Scott. Poor clearance. Butte forward to Uka. Tackled by Kuea. And neatly done by Seattle to maintain possession. The pass looking for Levesque is overhit, and McIntosh can grab that one.
It was a good ball from Giroux there. Last week against Portland, the Timbers gave him the room to come to the halfway line, and he gave the ball away more often than not, but on that occasion he was able to find Kanji on the right side.
Yeah, O'Brien's really hurting, guys. He tried to hit that long ball through and went down. I think his night is over, which is huge for Seattle. He went back out there, tried to keep playing, and he was the one that hit that long ball, and right as he did it, you saw him grimace in pain. I believe, unfortunately for Seattle, his night is over.
It'll be Greg House who most likely will come up. You see him there on the sideline.
Jog up and down a little bit.
House who scored the winning goal, or the first goal anyway, in the penalty kick shootout against Puerto Rico. Another veteran of this league who's been around at Rochester and Milwaukee. So they won't lose too much, but Leighton O'Brien really is the team leader, isn't he?
It's a shame if he has to come off at this early stage, but that is the game. There's nothing you can do about it. Hauser just warming up on the sideline, and we anticipate that it would be him coming in.
And you figure that was right from the kickoff?
Well, no, that last shot that he had there, when he came back in, you could tell he was trying to fight through the pain, and the long ball that he hit there right after, you saw him go down. He went right to the surface right after that long ball. But as you mentioned, Greg Howes, here's a guy that was in the championship game last year for Rochester, would start on a lot of teams. I mean, Howes is a guy who comes to work every day. Brian Schmetzer was talking about him. You know, he's a blue-collar worker. He's going to work hard for you all over the field, and getting in maybe earlier than he thought in this one, but he could have very well have been starting.
Atlanta out to this near side. Lancaster, the right back. Looks up. Looks for some movement from the forwards. He chips it forward for Oka. Flick header looking for Millwood. Down by the corner flag. It's driven away. Latu comes to collect. And does well to keep possession there. Good first touch from Howes. Gardner brought down by Bobo. That'll be a free kick for Seattle right in front of the benches here on the left, on the near side.
That was an excellent first touch, coming in cold for Greg House to find Gardner there. And the Atlanta defender just holding Gardner up, sending him to the turf as Bobo collides with Josh Gardner.
Bobo looked to be taking the charge there, just kept his ground, and he's a solid defender as well. Bobo won a championship with Milwaukee and also lost to Seattle back in 2005 when he was with Richmond.
Chip down the line from Kuea. It doesn't come off as Kanji drives it forward. He was actually looking to release Rios on the far side. It's sent back down into the Atlanta end by Seattle. Now Kuea. Knocked to the ground, not much there, but enough to convince the referee. It'll be a free kick for Seattle, this time from this near side. And again, up come the big boys from the back. Taylor Graham, the big centre half, in among it. Kuea on the right foot. And chips it in. It's Jeroen, the big defender, who gets it away. Trishuk sets it back to the skipper, Jackson. Sakuda. And back to Trishuk. Now Jackson out to Gardner on this near side. Leighton O'Brien out to the far side as this portion of the game brought to you by USL Live. Watch USL First Division matches live and on demand at USLLive.com. USLLive.com, the new way to see your sport. Levesque to Latu. Maybe a chance for Howes. It didn't quite drop for him as the ball is driven in, and that won't trouble McIntosh. It'll be a goal kick.
Certainly an ambitious effort from Zach Scott, but as you mentioned earlier, Steve, never a bad idea on the wet surface here. Get a deflection from inside the area. Something good might happen from a shot from distance.
I think Atlanta has done their job as well here. Again, you've got the big crowd here on hand in Seattle. They're looking for their Sounders to dominate as they really did all season long. And Atlanta, they want to come in, take the crowd out of it, and I think they've done that. Obviously, the big injury to Leighton O'Brien, that's a key factor. But Atlanta's had some time to go forward, possess the ball a little bit, and I think stage one has worked for the Silverbacks.
Clearance from McIntosh. It drops for Trishuk. Back to Jackson. Jackson, right foot, driven ball forward for Levesque, sets it back to Latou, and he doesn't catch it cleanly. And half a chance there that goes begging as McIntosh grabs the ball thankfully.
Well, for as skillful a team as the Sounders are, they're certainly not afraid to go route one. And it's worked effectively on a couple of occasions, certainly that time getting the opportunity on goal as well.
Latou just chips it forward. Hayes is there across to Control. The defender of the year in the USL First Division. Sets it back to McIntosh as keeper. Nice flick out to Kanji on this near side. Back heel inside and straight to Taylor Graham as Latou sets back to Howells. Howells to Levesque. Levesque out to the right. Correa to the back post. Jerome misses it. Gardner across the middle. Oh, it's it! No, wide. Just wide. Looked like it was going to sneak in at the back post, but it bounces just wide of the right hand upright. And McIntosh very happy to see that miss the target.
It misses out. Lancaster only gets a piece of it, and then Gardner, I think it was touched by McIntosh. It might have thrown off the Seattle forward there. Good chance for the Sounders.
Giroud just misread the cross, the Atlanta defender, but it comes to nothing.
You see the versatility of their attack as well. As you mentioned, Paul, they can go right up the middle. They can play it to the flanks as well. It can hit you with so many different ways.
Here's Latou again. This time Hayes is back and will earn his team a goal kick. And just complaining there that there was a little elbow in, I think, as he has a word with his captain, Rodrigo Rios. Rain still coming down here at the Starfire complex just outside Seattle. Giroud for Atlanta. And we're going to be joined on the sideline by Bobby Howe.
This is a very good contest so far, a great cup tie. Both teams have tested each other out early on. A blow for Seattle when Leighton O'Brien went off with that injury.
Lancaster steps in front of Latou, heads it clear. Treshuk controls. Back to Scott, who heads back to the keeper, Islander. Could have picked it up, rolls it out to Scott. Volleys it forward. Bobo let that one come off his body a bit awkwardly. Now Gardner. Into the middle, it bounces inside the box, and Hayes, under pressure from Howells, will concede a corner kick.
I think the Silverbacks are struggling a little bit, adjusting to the conditions here, not just the weather, but the style of play. The Sounders are forcing the ball. They're not afraid to go the long ball, and there have been a lot of chances in the early going for them.
Good ball in, there's a chance! Saved at the near post by McIntosh.
That was well held by the Atlanta keeper. I think the ball fell for Gardner or Levesque there in front of the goal.
Yeah, the big bodies coming forward too. I think it was Taylor Graham that ultimately got that last shot out as well, pushing those big guys in.
Thumping clearance from the Atlanta goalkeeper. It's there to be one in the middle. And Giroud picks out Hayes on the left. Oh, inside to Ute now. Oka. Oka to Rios. As Atlanta enjoy a bit of possession. Liendo now. Chips forward. That's given away. And Atlanta win it back with Rios as Seattle give it back to Atlanta. Good ball down the line. Oka. Millwood also over there. Back it comes to Lancaster, the right back. Kanji now. Turns towards goal. And picks out Lancaster. Crosses, it's off target though. It'll be headed clear by Seattle. As Atlanta keep it alive now with Giroud. And still Giroud. Nicely done from the defender. Forward to Millwood. Millwood just trying to hold it up and showed his studs in the tackle there. That'll be a free kick for Seattle.
Seen two of the backs now for Atlanta push forward. Nice run by Omar Giroud. at the University of Dayton, pushing all the way into the attack, just didn't get that return pass.
Giroux used to be a forward and set some records at Dayton in that position. Settled in nicely as a big back four player, and he has had a good start so far.
Seattle at the edge of the 18. Levesque couldn't get it out from under his feet. Atlanta happy just to get it away to the halfway line. Here's Graham to Scott on the left side. Scoops the pass forward. It'll be straight through to Hayes, who rolls it out to the left side. It's Rios, the Chilean. Given away from Rodrigo Rios. It's Seattle again now, pushing down the right touchline. Oh, that's a good ball to Gardner. He wanted it on his left foot. He's going to get another chance, is he? No. Away from Atlanta. And a good spell for Seattle.
All sorts of space afforded Gardner there. And his touch just let him down a little bit. That allowed a couple of Silverback defenders to close him quick.
Goya to the halfway line, now out to the right side. The two gets it across. Levesque flicks on. Bobo in with a touch. And Atlanta try and work it away down this near side. It's Oka who's dispossessed. Howes plays it inside. Bobo has to slide in with a challenge. Now Treshuk. Back to Graham. Treshuk again. Good ball to Hayes. Hayes gives it away though. Kanji, who has bothered some teams with his pace this year, whips it in. It's cleared by Taylor Graham. It'll be an attacking throw-in for Atlanta.
Yeah, how about Makumbo Kanji, the number 27 for Atlanta? Here's a guy who was playing at Georgia Military College, didn't finish, was spotted at a tryout for the Atlanta Silverbacks PDL team. Jason Smith saw him, couldn't believe he wasn't taking immediate impact now in the USL First Division.
Bobo plays it forward. Graham heads clear. Butte keeps it alive. Out to the far side. It's Rios. Hayes overlapping. Rios inside of Butte. Back to Rios. Early ball in. Here's a chance. Is it just too far across? Still Atlanta with possession. It's headed clear in the end. And that'll be a corner kick for Atlanta. I think that's their first of the night.
Some good combination play there from the Silverbacks as well. We saw in the Portland series, very disjointed, the front runners not tying in much with the midfield, but that was good build up there from Atlanta as we looked at the 1-2 there from Michelle Millwood.
Hint of offside there. It's going to be a corner kick for Atlanta. Rios will take it. Sweeps it to the back post. It's headed down, but it'll be Seattle who hammer it clear. Hayes sprints to stop it running out for a throw-in. Away by McIntosh. Jackson beaten in the air by Millwood. The two sets at the halfway line shows for it, but his touch was poor. As Kanji now controls on the right side. Chips inside for himself and steps on the ball there on the surface. Unlucky. Gardner to Latu. Lovely touch off the knee, but he goes to the ground and loses possession. Handball, Roger Levesque.
Perhaps somewhat to right on the spot there.
Gerald Barnhart out of Tampa wrote a great article about Roger Levesque. Sometimes he's overshadowed. He talked about Mikel Galindo, Cam Weaver. Here's a guy, Levesque, who just does what every coach wants you to do. Works, runs all day, plays up top, always in a positive mood, and he's going to have an impact tonight. You see, wasn't first to the ball there, but he's going to be a key for Seattle.
Levesque knocked off the ball by Bobo. Veteran USL First Division defender. Now Giroux out to the left side. Hayes. Liendo and Hayes again. Direct ball forward for Millwood. Controls on the chest. Still. And now Lancaster. Still Atlanta possessed with Hayes on the far side. Now Rios to Hayes. There's the ball into Millward, flicks it for Rios. Chips across the middle, it's over the top from Atlanta, and that'll be a goal kick.
You can sense Atlanta starting to pick up some confidence, a little bit of momentum there, and when they get it on that far side with Rios, they like to attack.
And good runs there from the front runners. That was Millwood who made himself available and chested it down for Rios. He and Oka just camping out at the edge of the 18, and when it's time to break, they break quickly.
This portion of the game brought to you by USLsoccer.com. Get the latest scores, standings, and news by visiting USL's official website, USLsoccer.com. Throw Seattle. Halfway line, Howes. Back out to the far side now. Here's Graham. Rios in quickly to close the Seattle defender. Sakuda down. It's driven out of this near side. Scott couldn't control it. Kanji. Oh, nicely done there by Liendo. And still Liendo to Butte. Tackled by Levesque.
That's the work right there. You got your forward Levesque coming all the way back. Liendo beat two players, but Ford comes back and wins it.
Hayes chips forward. It's just overhit a little bit. And Islander, the keeper, off his line quickly. Makes a nice grab. Big crowd here tonight. Full house, as you would expect for the championship game. We're live at Starfire Complex just outside Seattle.
Well, the atmosphere has been excellent as well. Full house here at Starfire, circled right around the field, close to the action.
Awkward there for Lancaster as he has to concede a throw-in. Just came really from a nothing-driven ball forward. Here's Treshuk. Back to Zach Scott, given away. Kanji to Millward. Now Butte forward to Oka. Good stuff from Atlanta as Hayes joins in, the left back. Hayes whips in a good ball. Oh, it's a good save! Tipped over the bar. It's going to be a corner kick for Atlanta.
Well, they punish you, don't they? When you give it away, as the Sounders did there, the Silverbacks counter quickly. And their build-up effective there. The end touch coming for Oka. As you see it here, he makes a spectacular overhead-style kick, but Islander equal to the task.
Tell you what, that was on target. Excellent save from Islander to deny Oka. Probably the best chance of the game.
Yeah, fans of Puerto Rico are looking. They said they saw a lot of those saves from Islander. Brian Schmetzer talked about how he's one of the reasons they're in this championship game. Saves like that from their goalkeeper.
Rios to take the corner. In at the near post, headed away by the first man. It'll be a throw-in for Atlanta now. Neatly done. Rios can cross into the middle to Oka. Tackled though by Gardner, and it comes out to Latu. And now Gardner takes up the running across to Correa. Has to be quick with his pass. Gets it out to Sakuda on the right. Then three in the middle, Seattle. It comes across to Gardner. He's unmarked at the top of the box, but he can't quite get it out from under his feet as Atlanta clear again into the Seattle end. We see the sprint turf goal summary. No goals, of course. Seattle with 7 shots to Atlanta's 3. And Atlanta 6 fouls to 3. But it's been fairly even so far, guys.
You just see the one save there for Seattle and Islander, but it's the save of the match so far. That was a terrific opportunity for the Silverbacks to take the lead.
Here's Latu, uncharacteristic heavy touch from him. As Liendo has to go in on Treshuk, and that will be a free kick for the Seattle Sounders.
And Liendo can't believe it. He went in and Treshuk was right there. They both sort of backed down a second. Treshuk went down. How about the run Treshuk had again against that Puerto Rico series? An 80-yard run to get the go-ahead goal. And eventually proved to be the difference against Puerto Rico. The Islanders, great series there in the semis. But Treshik with the long run in the second goal in that game down in San Juan.
Correa will drift one into the back post. Good ball. Bobo kept his eye on it. Head's clear, but it'll be a corner kick for the Seattle Sounders.
It was an excellent ball from Alcaraz Cuellar, and somewhat surprisingly, you see Josh Gardner taking these corner kicks when in the past it was Alcaraz Cuellar, and now the number 77 jots over to the corner flag there. And we see the switch that I was expecting to see from the start of the game.
I think he heard you, Paul.
So an out swinger from Correa to replace the left-footed delivery from Gardner. Whipped in, headed away by Atlanta. There's a shot from Howes. Still alive in the box, and in the end, a sliding clearance from Scott Butte.
Well, Alcaraz Cuellar, one of the all-time assist leaders in the USL First Division, holds many records for both Portland and Seattle, and that was a great ball that led to that chance.
Again, the cross comes in, and Lancaster actually missed the clearance. It dribbles through to the goalkeeper, McIntosh.
Yeah, you can't call that an intentional pass back, can you? That was a little whiff, but perfectly placed to the keeper.
It's interesting with the inclusion of Howes now. It does bring another element because he has a terrific shot. As Taylor Graham tries to work it clear.
And we saw Greg Howes score a rocket of a shot against the Whitecaps on Fox Soccer Channel. Game up in Vancouver in late July to equalize that game at 2 and it looked to be lost.
Howes is one of those guys, solid indoor, can score a ton of goals, and so good at that one-timer like we just saw a couple moments ago in that long-range shot.
Free kick, Atlanta, halfway line, near side. There you have a look at Howes. There's Lancaster, who's waiting for the ball. Young player, native of England. Coventry, England. Here here's the delivery in to the top of the 18. It's flicked forward by Millwood. There's no one running on. And Islander quickly off his line, gathers that up.
I think it's been a good game, Steve and Andrew. Both teams looking to play attractive, attacking soccer, not sitting back, as much as Atlanta said that perhaps they might do that to start the game. It's really been very end-to-end.
Absolutely, as Levesque sets it out to the far side. And a little 1-2. Can they get the cross in? It is driven into the middle, and it's volleyed away by Lancaster. Hard challenge there from Liendo. Play, says the referee, but it's a throw-in for Seattle on the far side.
Some questions being asked there about that challenge. It looked to be a 2-footer from here. Certainly the fans in front of me thought so.
Lusty challenge. With about 5 minutes to go till half-time. It's Seattle 0, Atlanta 0. Taylor Graham with possession for Seattle. And now Jackson. Diagonal ball overhit there. Throw in Atlanta Silverbacks.
Again, guys, you look at the history of the USL Championship. Of course, last year Vancouver beat Rochester away from home. That was the first time that was done, and you keep going back to the point, yes, Seattle's really winning the midfield battle right now, I think, but the longer this game goes scoreless, the more confidence Atlanta gets. They've got Dan Antoniak on the sidelines. There's a guy who led the league in points. I'm sure Jason Smith just wants to get in halftime now with this tie score.
Feels for handball. It doesn't matter because Seattle maintain possession. Treshik back to Jackson, and Boyer just keeps possession there for the Sounders. Now Graham again. Chips forward. Good ball to Howes. Nods it down for Cuellar. Now Treshik. Cuellar again. As Rios is very tight on Sakuda. It's still with the Sounders as Atlanta hold just inside, or just at the halfway line. Now given away by Seattle to Kanji. In turn, Atlanta lose possession a little cheaply. Kanji in with a tackle, throws Seattle. Levesque. Cuellar drops it down the line. That's a nice ball inside from Gardner. The 2 goes to ground. Play on, says the referee. As Levesque can't keep that one in play. Kanji Tries to get rid of it. Again, appeals for a free kick, not given. Rios. To Hayes, overlapping on the left. Rios again now for Atlanta. Drives it diagonal, looking for Kanji. It's under hit. And Seattle get possession back, Paul. It's tense time the last few minutes of the half.
Great urgency from both teams, though. They're really looking to make a football match out of it, going forward, looking to score goals rather than sitting back and looking to counter, which both teams are good at. And although there have been no goals through 40 minutes or so here, it's been an attractive style of game so far. I'm sure the goals are coming.
You think so, wouldn't you? The way these teams play. You're watching the USL First Division Championship game live on Fox Soccer Channel. Broadcasting to you from Starfire Complex, just outside Seattle. Here's Scott. Across and headed down for Levesque. Tries to get it down to his left foot and runs away from him in the end. McIntosh across to stop it running out for a corner. Thrown out by McIntosh to Butte. Allowed to bring it to the halfway line. Now chips one in for Kanji. Controls. That's good defending there in the corner as Seattle win it back, no real problems. And chip to the halfway line.
He's got a bag full of tricks, though, doesn't he, Kanji? He gave Leonard Griffin in the Portland defense all sorts of troubles down in Atlanta. And the coach, I'm sure Jason Smith, will say, yeah, pull out all your tricks when you're in the offensive third down by the byline, but make sure you help out defensively, too, and don't do it in your own half.
That's right. Keep it down at that end, not at your own end. As, again, the play stopped for a handball. It's going to be a free kick for the Atlanta Silverbacks. McIntosh, the keeper, drives it forward. Away by Seattle. Millwood can't keep that one alive. It's going to be another goal kick for the Seattle Sounders. Highlander, who denied Oka earlier in the half with a super save.
Well, Steve spoke earlier about how the Sounders franchise do such a good job of filling positions. Of course, Marcus Hanneman, who played here with the USL, and Preston Burpo, who went on to play in MLS, and now they've filled that position in goal with Chris Islander. Of course, Marcus Hanneman playing today for Reading. I didn't hear the result of that one. Can you let me know your favorite team, Reading, how they do today?
I don't want to talk about it. Don't mention it. 7 goals he let in today as Reading dropped that one. Right now it's Seattle on the attack. There's a chance! And it's in!
And look who it is. It's the substitute, Greg Howes, who's come on for Leighton O'Brien. And he makes his first offensive foray into the Atlanta penalty area and buries it behind McIntosh for that critical goal just before the stroke of halftime.
Just a hopeful ball forward, really. As there you see it, Howes running on. Good control on the chest, and that's a neat finish from the veteran midfielder. And that crucial time to get a goal up, Paul.
Well, and Steve had mentioned Greg Howes, who has so much indoor experience, very comfortable on the artificial surface, having played in Rochester last year and now Seattle. And he took that down expertly and slotted it by McIntosh.
Atlanta play it forward. Islander comes and takes a clean catch at the edge of the 18.
Assist from Ugo Alcaraz.
So Howes strikes first for Seattle. Almost at the stroke of half-time. Away by the Sounders. Atlanta clear to the halfway line. Rios battles for possession and does pick out Oka now. Oka. A step over and chips it forward. It's straight to Taylor Graham. As the referee blows his whistle. And Seattle are going to take a 1-0 lead into the locker room here at halftime.
And I think it's deserved as well, Andrew. They had the majority of the play, certainly, and a good finish at a critical time just before halftime. Greg Howes, as you see the Sounders going off, 45 minutes in the books.
Amazing storyline, really, because Howes starting on the bench, comes in for O'Brien, and gets the goal that will buoy his team at half-time. 1-0 up over Atlanta.
Can't hear them.
We're going to join Seattle Sounders head coach Brian Schmetzer on the sideline there. Brian, talk about that goal from Greg Howes. I guess a terrific substitution.
Well, it's a great time to score, obviously, just before the half. We'll try and build on that momentum for the second half, but it's been an entertaining match, up and down the field by two good teams.
And I just wanted you to talk a little bit about Islander, who made a very good save to deny Oka earlier in the half.
Yes, well, that's why he should have been in the first team and worthy of consideration for all-league selection.
All right, Coach, thank you.
Thank you.
Well done in the first half. Good luck for the second 45. We're going to take a short break here. When we come back, the halftime show. It's the USL First Division Championship game. The score at halftime, Seattle Sounders 1, Atlanta Silverbacks 0.
Okay, the song goes, nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea. Nausea.
Diarrhea. Expectorismo.
When it comes to the relief of these stomach problems, all you need to know is Pep.
It may look like an ordinary white strip, but this new strip works in just 5 minutes to give you a brighter, more beautiful smile every day.
Introducing Crest White Strips Daily Multi-Care. It works in 3 ways. 1, it removes surface stains. 2, whitens by deep cleaning. 3, it protects against the buildup of everyday stains.
This is the brightest 5 minutes of my day.
Satisfaction guaranteed. New Crest White Strips Daily Multi-Care.
Are you still doing the weed trimmer tap dance? Stop hopping around and get the Grass Gator Load and Cut. It's the simplest yet most effective weed trimmer ever. Load and Cut installs quickly and easily on any gas trimmer, and you can put in new cutting line in 1 second flat. Just slide it in and it holds securely. It's that simple. Just load and cut. Did you ever see a trimmer go through tall grass this easily? And try tackling thick weeds like this with your flimsy old cutter line. Load and Cut comes with super tough .130 trimmer whips. How tough are they? So tough they can actually turn your ordinary trimmer into a powerful brush cutter. This is the trimmer technology you've been waiting for. No more fumbling with awkward spools of line and no more complicated threading of replacement cutters. With Load and Cut, you just load and cut. You spend your time trimming, not loading line. Look, a steel wire fence will chew this ordinary trimmer line to shreds, but it can't harm our super tough Load and Cut line. It's still as good as new. Amazing! Load and Cut breezes through heavy brush in no time. It neatly trims along fences, trims around trees, and can even trim right up against rocks without getting frayed or worn away. No more fumbling with awkward spools of line and no more complicated threading of replacement cutters. This is the trimmer technology you've been waiting for. Load and Cut installs quickly and easily on any gas trimmer, and you can put in new cutting line in 1 second flat. Just slide it in and it holds securely. It's that simple.
Through this special TV offer, you get the Load and Cut head plus a free supply of 20 cutters for only $29.95. Gas or electric available. So don't delay, order your Load and Cut now. To order your Grass Gator Load and Cut, have your credit card ready and call the toll-free number, or send a check or money order to Grass Gator Load and Cut, P.O. Box 218, Station K, Toronto, Ontario, M4P 2G5. So call now.
This telecast of the 2007 USL One Championship on Fox Soccer Channel from Seattle, Washington is being brought to you by Sprint Turf, the smart choice in synthetic turf systems. By Umbro, wherever there is soccer, there's Umbro. USL Live, watch USL First Division matches live and on demand at USLLive.com. USLLive.com, the new way to see your sport. 90 Minutes Soccer Magazine, the choice of people who know the game. USLsoccer.com. Get the latest scores, standings, and news by visiting USL's official website, USLsoccer.com. The fans are braving the rain. It continues to fall here, and what looked like it was going to be a scoreless first half, Greg Howells had the answer moments before the halftime whistle as Greg Howells, the sub who came on, maybe that's the biggest play in the game so far. Leighton Bryan, who goes out with an injury, and his replacement, Greg Howells, comes in and breaks the deadlock moments before half, so Atlanta goes in down a goal. They'll have to regroup, although they look solid there in the first half. Well, one of the good things that we've got here for championship weekends is a time to look back at some of the individual honors. And the individual honors were named. Sebastian Latou, the guy you saw in the first half for Seattle, newcomer to United Soccer Leagues, and he was a dominant force to be reckoned with up top for the Sounders. He was named league MVP on Friday. Coach of the Year, how about the job Gavin Wilkinson did? Rookie coach for the Portland Timbers, had his team near the top of the table the entire season. Congratulations to the Portland Timbers on a great year, and to Gavin Wilkinson, Defender of the Year. Another guy, a unique situation with players that we've seen on the field tonight. Hayes getting the honor, pushing forward 7 goals for his squad, and then Puerto Rico, another great season that they had. Jay Needham out of SMU gets the honor for Rookie of the Year. Well, another championship game, more rain. I'm now joined by the owner and president of the United Soccer Leagues, Francisco Marcos. Francisco, here we are again. You started the league a long time ago. Expansion has always been the key, the focus. What's in store for the United Soccer Leagues as we expand to Bermuda and beyond?
Well, for next year, consolidation is the word. You know, we are going through a process of reviewing where we've been for the last, not 20 years, but certainly the last 5 or 6, and trying to figure out if we're doing the right thing or not in a lot of different areas. So we're really now about consolidating USL 1. We're trying to figure out if we're going to stay in all the markets that we're in now. We're re-identifying some of these markets. We've got some great success stories happening around the league. Puerto Rico, for example, a place that most people would not have thought, you know, professional soccer would have thrived in. It has. We've got a new great ownership group in Minnesota with the Thunder, where a new stadium is going to be built. Stadiums being built in Montreal, in Vancouver. That really is the focus for us. Is not so much right now to expand in numbers. We're looking at MLS, trying to figure out where they're going to stay, where they're going to settle their franchises, because we need to make sure that we carve our own niches and not try to compete head-to-head with them in the same markets.
Great status in the United Soccer Leagues. Now, there's 2 categories. There's the soccer purists, there's the soccer innovators. I think you're in the latter category. In looking at the World Cup last year being decided in PKs, the 2 semifinals decided in PKs. You look at the USL2 PKs, PDL PKs. It's the beautiful game. We still haven't figured out a beautiful way to end tie breaks. What are your suggestions?
Well, I guess we could always count corner kicks. Look, you know, the best way is like this game, halftime, almost there, great goal, and the coach has to change their plan completely for the second half. Nobody's happy with the fact that PKs decide a lot of games. We had 2 semifinals last week, great games, great crowds, both PKs. Is anybody happy about it? No. At the end of the day, you know, we may just have to live with certain things, and PKs may be one of them. Would I prefer the old-fashioned NASL style shootouts? I probably would prefer that to penalty kicks, but at the end of the day, it's still an artificial means of deciding the game. So there's only so much innovation you can throw at it, and then you're really just a gimmicky guy, and that's not necessarily the same thing. So it is what it is, and let somebody else worry about the new system.
I like it. An answer and not an answer there. You like how it is. It is the beautiful game. Thanks so much for spending some time with us. Francisco Marcos, the owner and president of the United Soccer Leagues. He got it all started. We're at half. We'll be back with some highlights and the stats from Seattle, Washington. Stay with us.
Is the shade you bought not the one you thought? Here's the one you should have got, True Blend. CoverGirl True Blend foundations and pressed powders match 97% of skin tones, so you just can't miss. True Blend matches so seamlessly, you don't know where your makeup ends and your own skin begins. We guarantee it, or your money back. And now, with True Blend blushes and bronzers, your total look is always true to you. True Blend can't miss makeup from easy breezy, beautiful CoverGirl.
Want to make your home feel noticeably fresh? Take the Febreze 7-Day Challenge. First, put away those other freshening products. Then, for the next 7 days, make Febreze part of your tidy-up routine. Many of the surfaces in your home are soft surfaces that can hold on to odors. Febreze finds those odors and cleans them away as it dries. Take the Febreze 7-Day Challenge to eliminate odors and freshen fabrics, guaranteed or your money back. Go ahead, spray on, freshness lovers, spray on.
For years, I focused on just wrinkles. Now I fight the look of what can age me most.
It's a definite. Breakthrough Olay Definity Foam fights the look of what can age you most. Discoloration, brown spots, plus wrinkles.
The dark ages of fighting just the look of wrinkles are history.
For luminous skin, Olay Definity Foam definitely loves the skin you're in.
It may look like an ordinary white strip, but this new strip works in just 5 minutes to give you a brighter, more beautiful smile every day.
White Strips Daily Multi-Care. It works in 3 ways. 1, it removes surface stains. 2, whitens by deep cleaning. 3, it protects against the buildup of everyday stains.
This is the brightest 5 minutes of my day.
Satisfaction guaranteed. New Crest White Strips Daily Multi-Care.
Okay, the song goes, nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Nausea. Diarrhea. Expectorismo. Upset stomach. Indigestion. Stomach.
When it comes to the relief of these stomach problems, all you need to know is
Hi, I'd like something for dandruff control, but I also want shine.
Do you have a dandruff shampoo that also controls frizz?
Or for sensitive scalp?
Why do shampoo companies expect everyone to use the same dandruff shampoo? Head & Shoulders, Canada's #1 selling dandruff shampoo, has 9 shampoos. So no matter what your hair type, you get healthy-looking hair free of visible flakes.
Could you tell me where the sure cat food is?
Head & Shoulders, there's one just for you.
It is a cold, wet night here in Seattle, but right now the fans do not mind as Seattle has got the lead after 45 minutes of play. Welcome to our halftime report. I'm Steve Bell here for the 2007 USL First Division Championship game. A game Atlanta looked like they were doing their job. They almost got through the entire 45 minutes, keeping it scoreless. Jason Smith said he wanted to take little risk in the first half, but Greg Howes, the sub who came on for Leighton O'Brien, was the difference just before the final whistle. Let's now join Andrew Bell and Paul Dolan for the stats and the highlights of the first 45.
Thank you, Steve, as the rain continues to come down here at halftime. It was a good first half. Very even, and that goal late in the period separates the team. Let's have a look at the first half highlights. Mr. Paul Dolan, your thoughts here?
Well, both teams coming out offensively, despite the fact that Atlanta's saying they're going to soak up the pressure. You see Millwood here with the penalty call. Josh Gardner across the face of goal. Kanji's been a handful for Zach Scott all afternoon. And then you see Rio setting up this chance just over the bar, and then Oka turning Islander equal to the task. It's the Sounders in the 45th minute of play through Greg Howes here. The ball from Hugo Alcaraz-Cuellar, and that's how we stand through 45 minutes of play.
What a finish from Howes as we look at the stats. That's the important one at the top. Seattle 1, Atlanta 0, leading the game. Let's head back to Steve Bell on the touchline.
Thanks, guys. You obviously see the shots on goal there with Seattle clearly having the advantage. They're the #1 seed. We talked to you at the beginning of the game how the #1 seed has not won in the last 8 seasons. It's been the 4 seed that's done it. Let's see if Seattle can pull off the sweep, winning the regular season and the championship. 45 minutes to go. That will do it for our halftime here. Stay with us. You're watching the USL 2007 Championship on Fox Soccer Channel.
years, I focused on just wrinkles. Now I fight the look of what can age me most.
It's a definite. Breakthrough Olay Definity Foam fights the look of what can age you most. Discoloration, brown spots, plus wrinkles.
The dark ages of fighting just the look of wrinkles are history.
For luminous, highly defined skin, Olay Definity Foam. Definitely love the skin you're in.
Okay, the song goes, nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Nausea.
Diarrhea. Expectorismo. Upset. Stomach.
Indigestion. Stomach.
When it comes to the relief of these stomach problems, all you need to know is Pep.
Are you still doing the weed trimmer tap dance? Stop hopping around and get the Grass Gator Load & Cut. It's the simplest yet most effective weed trimmer ever. Load & Cut installs quickly and easily on any gas trimmer, and you can put in new cutting line in 1 second flat. Just slide it in and it holds securely. It's that simple. Just load and cut. Did you ever see a trimmer go through tall grass this easily? And try tackling thick weeds like this with your flimsy old cutter line. Load & Cut comes with super tough .130 trimmer whips. How tough are they? So tough they can actually turn your ordinary trimmer into a powerful brush cutter. This is the trimmer technology you've been waiting for. No more fumbling with awkward spools of line and no more complicated threading of replacement cutters. With Load & Cut, you just load and cut. You spend your time trimming, not loading line. Look, a steel wire fence will chew this ordinary trimmer line to shreds, but it can't harm our super tough Load & Cut line. It's still as good as new. Amazing! Load & Cut breezes through heavy brush in no time. It neatly trims along fences, trims around trees, and can even trim right up against rocks without getting frayed or worn away. No more fumbling with awkward spools of line and no more complicated threading of replacement cutters. This is the trimmer technology you've been waiting for. Load & Cut installs quickly and easily on any gas trimmer, and you can put in new cutting line in 1 second flat. Just slide it in and it holds securely. It's that simple.
Through this special TV offer, you get the Load & Cut head plus a free supply of 20 cutters for only $29.95. Gas or electric available. So don't delay, order your Load & Cut now. To order your Grass Gator Load & Cut, have your credit card ready and call the toll-free number, or send a check or money order to Grass Gator Load & Cut, P.O. Box 218, Station K, Toronto, Ontario, M4P 2G5. So call now.
Welcome back to the Starfire Sports Complex. Live from just outside Seattle, it's the USL First Division Championship game. We're just about to get the second half underway. Got some good games coming up for you on Wednesday. The Lamar Hunt US Open Cup final as MLS's FC Dallas squares off against New England. That one kicks off at 8 p.m. live on Fox Soccer Channel. And then 2 college games. The first on Wednesday, October the 3rd, is UCSB take on UCI. That's an 11 o'clock kickoff. And then Maryland take on Clemson on the 5th, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Here we have the coach of Atlanta, Jason Smith. Jason, what have you got to do to get back into this game?
I mean, we're going to have to go forward a little bit better than we are as a unit. First half, we played well at times, but there was too many times we weren't communicated and just were disorganized, especially right there at the end. I'm disappointed. Gave up one of the same goals we gave up during the year. We worked on correcting that problem. Unfortunately, made the same mistake, so we'll have to do better this half. I'd look for us to go into a 3-5-2 and see if we can trap them in their end.
All right, well, we'll be looking at it. It's a good first half, just a bit unlucky with that goal at the end of the period.
Yeah, I mean, I think we played okay, not our best, but hopefully we'll have a better half this second half here.
All right, Jason Smith, thank you very much, and best of luck for the second 45. We're back underway now at the Starfire Complex just outside Seattle. It's the Seattle Sounders 1, Atlanta Silverbacks 0. And Seattle immediately gain possession and drive it forward, looking for the French striker Letou. Wasn't the best clearance, and Latu will chase that one down towards the corner flag. Does have a bit of pace, but not enough to keep it in. And it'll be a throw-in now for the Atlanta Silverbacks.
Both teams come out unchanged from the first 45 minutes. Of course, the only change so far in the game is Greg Howes, who came on for the injured Leighton O'Brien, who Bobby Howes confirmed has a groin injury. And it looked to be a bad one as well, but Howes has come in and obviously filled his role very well with the 1 goal in the game so far.
I suppose you'd say season-ending injury for O'Brien. Last game of the year, of course, in the USL First Division, as Lancaster chips forward from the free kick. Brought down for Butte. Up for Oka at the top of the 18. His shot is blocked. And Seattle get possession back on the far side. Good ball forward and a nice touch control from Sebastian Latu. Here's Howes. Sets back to the halfway line. Howes again. Now Graham. Miss out Jackson. It's Sakuda. Back to the captain, Dan Jackson. Poor clearance. Rios to Hayes for Atlanta. Plays it forward. Highlander comes to collect. Just wide. Half chance there for Atlanta, and it was rolling towards goal. But in the end, just wide of the target.
Yeah, and they're going to need to convert on the half chances. Again, you saw the stats at halftime. They did not have a lot of looks, but this is huge.
And it's Oka who's using his weight there in his center of gravity to turn the defender, and just misses.
Let's catch up with Bobby Howe on the sideline. Bobby.
Outstanding first half. Obviously, Seattle scored a goal at the right time for them. But a great cup final, a very interesting contest. We'll be looking for perhaps Atlanta to go with a 3-5-2 system if this scoreline persists. Back to you guys.
Hard shot from Kanji there. Thanks, Mr. Bobby Howe on the sideline with his thoughts. And a good save at the near post by Islander. That'll please Coach Jason Smith. Look him on. Lancaster lets that one bounce, and Levesque was closing in fast. It's thrown out to David Hayes, former Richmond kicker, former Milwaukee player as well. Now Howes. Kuea. Slots into touchdown. They're throwing for Atlanta. And let's see, the referee will have a word with Kuea here. He threw the ball away. Lucky it didn't go too far.
I think he's somewhat lucky he didn't see yellow on that one. Knocked the ball away from Rios and then threw it to the ground as well.
Maybe a last warning from referee Mr. Mark Geiger. Here comes Seattle again with Kuea. Nice touch. That's a good ball down the line for Latu. Jeroen is across. Good challenge from the center half. Throw in Seattle.
Makes it a lot easier to make those sliding tackles when the rain's coming down on this type of surface.
Kuea with the throw in. Actually, we'll leave it. As the referee asks Seattle to pick up the pace here. With that 1-0 advantage. Treshuk comes across to take the throw. Does have a good long throw into the near post. Jeroen hits it up and then gets it away on the second attempt. Good control from Lancaster, but his clearance not fully away. It's there to be won. It's just bouncing around a little bit. And now, finally, Atlanta come up with it. They lose possession, win it back. Scrappy start to the second half as Oka gives chase, and a difficult clearance from Islander, but he does well to get it away.
Oh, and he's forced into that poor clearance because of the good offensive pressure from Millwood. And the defender had to play it back a little quicker than he probably have liked to, forcing Islander to just hack it away.
Butte to Oka. Down the outside for Kanji. Step over to the byline. He did well. Chips to the back post. Headed away by Kuea. Helped on by Levesque. Terrific setback there from Latu. That wasn't the best clearance, and that'll be knocked out as Seattle concede a throw-in.
Yes. That's what Scott Butte can bring to that team. He really stepping up in that midfield role. Butte out of the University of Maryland, attacking there in midfield, won the throw for his team.
There's the throw-in, and it's knocked behind, so it'll be a corner kick chance now for Atlanta.
A little bit of uneasiness in the Sounder back four. Josh Gardner kind of out of position there, kicking the ball away, and now they get the set-piece chance.
Rios whips it in with the left foot, headed clear by Seattle, and the counter-attack on here as Latu plays it cross to Tresher. Kanji back defending, and a conceded throw-in as Levesque challenges. Shows you how quickly Seattle can turn defense into attack with the counter-attack. Jackson across now for Taylor Graham. Now Sakuda lifts it forward. That's easy for Giroud, who chests that one away.
Guys, we talked before about Atlanta, explosive offense leading the league in goals this year with 40. There were only 2 teams this season that Atlanta could not score on. The #1 ranked Seattle Sounders and the last place California Victory. Only 2 teams they couldn't find the back of the net on, and still they're having difficulties getting that final touch, setting up the final pass to break down the Seattle defense.
It was 3-0 here for Seattle against Atlanta in the match in the Pacific Northwest earlier in the season, and 0-0 at Remax. And through 52 minutes here tonight, they've still yet to score, although they did have a terrific chance in the first half that Islander saved on Warren-Oka.
Big clearance from Islander, almost box to box as Atlanta volley to the halfway line. Millwood, was he pushed there? No, the referee says handball, Mikel Millwood. So a free kick for Seattle. You're watching the USL First Division Championship game. Live from the Starfire Complex, just outside Seattle. And the home team, Seattle Sounders, with a 1-0 lead. Taylor Graham taking his time with a free kick. Get on with it, says the referee. And he rolls it forward to Howes. Sets it back to Graham. Good ball forward. McIntosh has to be strong there, and he bobbles the catch, but then takes it on the second attempt. I suppose, Paul, the conditions not helping him.
No, and he's only 6'1" against the big striker there. Although he handled his crosses pretty well in the first 2 playoff game series that he's had to face the opposition. So he's done relatively well, but on that occasion the ball a bit too straight, and he's just dropped it.
Kanji got rocked there in the challenge, and that will require some treatment. Let's hope it's not serious. Just holding his head.
And Kanji, another great find. Talked about him in the first half. Here's a guy who was playing college soccer, got picked up, went to the tryout. As you see the hard challenge. Would have got, looked like it hit his head, but scored 4 goals in the opening day of that tryout with the PDL team. And Jason Smith had a conversation with Kanji and his dad and really told him to stay in school, finish, get your degree, stay there. Jason Smith, of course, a college coach, wanted him to stay with the education. Had some problems transferring some credits, said it was time to move on, and signed with the Atlanta Silverbacks, scored in his first professional game in Atlanta.
It's going to be a throw-in for Atlanta as Kanji comes off. He'll have to come off, of course, having received treatment, but I'm sure we'll be okay to continue. At least I would expect so. It's Hayes with a throw-in for Atlanta. Levesque helps out, but he doesn't get it away. Butte tries the reverse pass to the top of the box. It took a deflection, and Islander takes his time now, does pick it up, and we have another injury at the edge of the 18.
And that's Danny Jackson, and he is struggling to get up. He's a player who's had 2 knee surgeries, native of Leeds, the captain tonight. And good to see him get back up. Of course, he missed the last game here at Starfire, sitting out the red card suspension when he was sent off in Puerto Rico.
And this will be the last championship game for Seattle as well, with that injury you were talking about.
Another direct ball forward there from Seattle as Kanji comes back on. Hayes now sprints away with the ball, comes flying out of the back, lifts it forward, flick down, and half volley away by Atlanta. Good touch from Giroud. Picks out Butte. Butte had a look at Kanji, but decided to play it. Pass forward. Now Liendo. Back to Giroud. First time to Hayes on the left. Now Rodrigo Rios. Underhit it there as Jackson steps up to win it back for Seattle.
That's the ball that has to be better. Rios not on the same page as Kanji.
Diagonal ball for Levesque. Little pass inside to Latu. To his right foot, top of the 18. Plays it square, and it's not a good clearance from Bobo. Howes looking to shoot on target, and a good save from McIntosh.
Yeah, if there's one guy you don't want to clear to right up the middle, it's Greg Howes. He can unload from that range. Lucky for Atlanta, he took a couple touches.
It's Latu again now as Seattle turn up the pressure. Howes trying to pick the two out at the edge of the 18, gives it away. Atlanta play it to the lone striker at the moment. It's Millwood. Millwood, square to Rios. Quick look up from the captain. Good ball down the line to Kanji. Just inside the box. His cross shot is blocked behind. Corner kick, Silverbacks.
And it looks as if Kanji is up and back on his feet. Ready to attack again. The native of Senegal. And I mentioned that it caused the Timbers all sorts of problems, especially in Atlanta. Of course, both teams playing on this artificial surface, and Atlanta seems to have adjusted to this field better than in Portland.
Rios plays it in. Giroud heads down, and it's somehow over the top. I think it was pushed over in the end by the keeper, and we'll credit him with a fantastic save.
It was an awkward one for the keeper, Giroud, who's 6'4", rising above the Seattle defense here. And that is a tricky one, especially with Oka standing right in front of the Seattle goalkeeper.
Come up big twice now for Seattle as Rios plays it in again. This time it's a deep corner to the back post. Headed away by Seattle, and we'll have another corner, this time from the opposite side. Good spell from Atlanta, who are trying to find a way back into this championship game. Hayes is the player to take the corner on the near side. Into the near post, and Millwood was unmarked, but he couldn't get the header on target. The two turns and won't catch up to that. McIntosh has to be alert at the edge of the 18. Picks out his left back, David Hayes. Now Butte will bring it to the halfway line. Busy little midfielder. Rios, who's moved across to the middle of the park now in the second half. Here's Hayes. Liendo. Well played, Mikel Millwood. Up towards Oka. Cuellar doesn't get it clear. It'll be a throw for Seattle. How long do you think we're going to wait until we see some changes from the bench for Atlanta?
I think the question with Atlanta is, who do you bring out? You know, you want to get Dan Antoniuk in, but both forwards playing well. The size advantage that they've got. Of course, you bring in Antoniuk. He is great in the air. And I don't think it's early enough where you panic and you go to 3 forwards. You don't want to take out any of the midfielders yet.
And Jason Smith talked about going through 3-5-2. You think that David Hayes would probably push forward on a left midfield role. But it is Antoniuk who is up off the bench warming up. So that substitution might take place quicker than we think.
Just about at the hour mark, almost at the hour mark. It's still 1-0 Seattle. Well played, Scott Butte, but he can't get it all the way clear. Now here's Latu. Two players immediately on him. Flicks it across to Levesque. A little ball inside for Latu, but McIntosh off his line quickly denies the French striker a chance. Hayes for Atlanta. Switches to Bobo, the veteran defender. Now Lancaster. Up to Kanji. Just a hopeful ball forward, really, as Seattle and Taylor Graham head it clear. Comfortable that for Graham with his height. Butte comes again to collect it. Now Giroud. Again Graham. anticipates the pass, and Seattle have it back at the halfway line. And Graham's going to push forward now, the big center half. And still Graham. To Correa. Chance for a strike. Oh, what a goal!
He ripped it. Provider turns scorer. Alcaraz Cuellar, who set up the first goal for House, rips this one from 30 yards out, giving McIntosh no chance in the Atlanta goal. And the Sounders with now a comfortable 2-0 lead.
What a strike from Correa. Just a fantastic finish. McIntosh never really had a chance.
Cuellar, the veteran in United Soccer League, playing in his first final, only scored 2 goals during the regular season, but how about that strike from outside?
Well, I've never seen Alcaraz Cuellar hit a ball so hard. I've seen him for many years in the USL as a provider, as I said, and he has given the Sounders now this big 2-goal cushion.
Atlanta pressing away by the goal scorer, Correa. And it's going to be a yellow card for Luis Liendo for the push on Roger Levesque.
Let's see if Antoniuk now comes in for Oka, as Jason Smith is going to the bench.
62nd minute of the match, Luis Liendo.
Well, this place erupted when Alcaraz Cuellar hit that one. We talked about the atmosphere here at Starfire. All the fans on their feet, circling this pitch. And a world-class goal from the Mexican national, Hugo Alcaraz Cuellar.
Jackson will take the restart for the Seattle Sounders. Drives it forward, and that's a good touch from Cuellar. Dragged it down. Just waiting, goes to the byline. Back to Sakuda. And still Seattle. Cuellar again. Across to Levesque, who leaves it for Howes, but Bobo read the intention, and Atlanta just about get it clear now with Bobo. To Giroud. Hayes, and now Giroud again. Switched out to the right side, Lancaster. Headed away. Rios tries to slip it in for Antoniuk, who's still looking for his first touch. So Seattle forced to play it back to the goalkeeper, Islander. Drives it away. Giroud couldn't deal with that, and it's McIntosh again who has to come out to clear. Here's Howes. That's Sakuda now for Seattle. Diagonal ball to the far side. Lancaster heads down for Kanji. Nice touch there for Scott Butte. And he rolls it in neatly to Rios. Steps across Howes. Still Rios. Forward and poked away by Jackson. Atlanta pushing on here. There's the ball to Butte at the top of the 18. Couldn't quite bring it under control to shoot. As that Seattle clear to Letou at the halfway line. Letou gives it away. And in turn, Kanji almost gives it away, keeps it in on the far side. In the end, it rolls through to Islander, and to be fair to Atlanta, they did have a couple of chances, just hasn't gone for them so far.
It's a pretty good response from Atlanta. Of course, they have nothing left to lose now. They brought on Antoniuk with about 25 minutes or so left to play here. They're going to have to push some bodies forward.
As that Levesque almost gets through the gap. Looks like Hayes has pushed up, Paul, as you said, into a more forward role in midfield. Rios plays it forward for Antoniuk to chase. And again, well defended by Seattle and away by Islander. Here's Letou. Across to Howes. First time out to the far side. Showed a lot of that to Rios, but it's kept alive by Seattle, who are buoyant now. 2-0 up at home. Levesque rolls it inside, and the flag is up for offside. It wouldn't have counted.
Maybe Levesque a little too unselfish there. Looked for a great return pass, although had he turned, maybe goal number 3 there. Had a lot of goal to look at, but unselfish play there, looking for the through ball. Looks like Angel Revillo set the check.
Revillo comes in for Liendo, I believe.
They made this switch in the last game last weekend in Portland, and Revillo, through 90 minutes, had the Silverbacks' only shot on goal in that game late in the match. So he has some offensive prowess. That's his first touch here.
Here's Revillo on the left side. That's a good ball. Chipped down the line for Millwood. Jackson forced out to defend from the middle. Played square by Millwood. And chance for Revillo. Good save. Islander tips it over the bar.
And he's done it again, Revillo. He's come into the game and made an immediate impact. And again, it's just too close to the keeper. Islander, all his good saves in the game have been within arm's reach, though, haven't they?
On target, and again, I suppose you'd say a comfortable save from Islander. He saw it coming. Here's the corner kick into the middle. Headed clear by Seattle. Hayes sweeps it back in, and it's over the top from Atlanta. Goal kick.
Antoniuk hit the bar there, skimmed off the bar. How about the subs tonight? Howells, who comes in for Seattle, scores. Revillo checks in. 30 seconds later, has a great look on goal.
That's good coaching, Steve. That's what they'll tell you after the game anyway. Islander taking his time with the goal kick. Just over 20 minutes to go. Thumping kick out from Islander. Good header away by Giroux. Hayes calmly plays it back to McIntosh in goal. He picks out Kanji at the halfway line. Great touch from Kanji. Can he get round the defender? Nope. And Howells will set it back to Islander in goal. Away by Seattle. Bobo snaps the header forward. Treshuk rides the challenge, plays it forward. That'll be a free kick for Seattle as Bobo came in a bit heavy and from behind on Sebastian Letou.
It's one way to slow down Letou. So quick on the turn. Bobo had to come out, really forced to make the foul. And Letou has caused problems on that back line for Atlanta tonight.
Movement is terrific, isn't it? He started the year as a defender. And there's a yellow card for delay of game, time wasting, as Atlanta prepare to defend the free kick from Cuellar. It's straight through and behind for a goal kick.
No, he just rushed his free kick there because he wanted to obey the referee, the official in that instance, and none of the Seattle players were set for that one.
Talk about a game of inches. The opening shot for Atlanta that just trickled past the post, and then Antoniuk off the bar there. 2 good looks for Atlanta.
Kanji sends it into the middle. It's not a dangerous ball. Islander, no problem there.
Atlanta playing in their first USL First Division final. These two teams met back in 1995. The Atlanta Ruckus was the name of the team at the time, and they played a 3-game series in which the Sounders ended up winning it, and then they won it again, did the Sounders in '96, and of course in 2005 here in Seattle against Richmond, series or game that went to penalty kicks.
Here come Seattle again. It's played across. Bobo got a piece of it. As Atlanta scramble it away, it's going to be a throw-in for Seattle, who, as you say, Paul, looking for their 4th USL 1 championship tonight. Treshuk will take the throw. Again, he has a long throw. We'll be looking to get it in towards the near post. Here it comes. It's flicked across dangerously. Howells plays it in. It's on target in the end from Levesque. And Atlanta will try and counter-attack here with David Hayes. Easy header for Jackson. Oh, well played. Howells And now Correa. Too close to Jeroen. Lancaster for Atlanta. Forward to Millwood, who's beaten in the air. Just tiring a little bit, perhaps. And that'll be Jeroen for Atlanta to gather it back up.
Atlanta's moved Rios into the middle of the field now as he's joined with Revillo, as they are in fact pushing Hayes all the way up to try to spark something in the attack now for Atlanta.
Butte to the substitute Antonio. Revillo chips forward. Kanji heads on into the box. Graham is there, and that's a good pass out to the left side.
Atlanta has had short spells of possession and some dangerous opportunities, but you really feel that Seattle's been in control of this game.
Nice flick on there for the two from his strike partner. And Levesque is at the back post. It's hit across, but Hayes now, who's really going box to box at the moment, comes back to collect it. Inside to Scott Butte. Now the substitute, Revillo. Lancaster forward to Rios. Touch was heavy and gets the benefit of the doubt there as Atlanta earn a free kick.
Well, right in front of us, Jason Smith and Alex Pineda-Chacon, the assistant coach for Atlanta, former MLS MVP. And you should probably think that Jason Smith would like to put him into the game right now. But they're talking about their tactics right now, how they can switch the flow of this game.
Wasn't the best free kick from Atlanta, but Hayes will win possession back for Atlanta. McIntosh drives it clear. Bobo, who was up for the free kick, flicks on. And when in doubt, knock it out from Taylor Graham. It'll be a throw-in now for Atlanta. Quickly taken. Rios to Revillo. There's two balls on the field. The referee actually, he doesn't get it out. Now he does.
Not the best of touches, was it?
Terrible first touch from referee Geiger. Bounces off a Seattle player. It'll be a throw-in for Atlanta deep in the Seattle end.
One way Atlanta can get back in the game a little faster with two balls.
Millwood at the top of the 18. Back to Butte. Patient stuff this from Atlanta. Chasing the game though. Ball into the middle for Millwood. Gets it across to Kanji, tackled as he tried to go forward. And the ball deflects behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, Andrew, you mentioned patient attack. I think too patient. You know, they're getting into that final 25 yards. You got the wet surface. You've got guys that can take those long shots. Someone has to take it upon themselves to pull the trigger there. They're looking for that final nice pass. Someone's got to shoot the ball.
It's going to be a goal kick then with Islander for Seattle. There has been some activity off the Seattle bench with under 20 minutes remaining.
Well, it's Noah Merle who played well in the Puerto Rico series when Danny Jackson was suspended. And it looks as if Brian Schmetzer may take up a more defensive posture with this 2-goal lead.
Hayes plays it forward. Oh, well played. Revillo just nicked it away from Sakuda. But the square pass off target, and the flag is up for offside, so it'll be a free kick for Atlanta. Quickly taken. Hayes sends it to the top of the 18. Kanji, that was a push surely, and it'll be a free kick for the Seattle Sounders. And here comes that substitution you were talking about. Oh no. Is the referee going to allow it? Yes, he is. Noah Merle's going to come into the game here.
And it's Josh Gardner who he's replacing. Gardner had a good first half, but hasn't seen much of the ball in this second period of play. So the midfielder comes off in place of a more defensive-minded Noah Merle.
And Gardner with a goal and 3 assists for 5 points on the season, can attack. Put a great effort in tonight. Merle checks in. Played in 26 games this year, no goals or assists, but again, that defensive element that he brings to this team right now is what they need.
The rain continues to come down at Starfire Complex. in Seattle. It's the USL First Division Championship game. Seattle Sounders 2, Atlanta Silverbacks 0. Atlanta get it away. There's the sprint turf goal scoring summary. And there you see it. 2 goals for Seattle. Greg Howes in the 41st minute with the first goal. Hugo Cuellar in the 61st. And what a strike that was. Can Atlanta respond? Kanji on the right side for the Silverbacks. Chips to the back post, and Hayes was there. Actually had a chance to play it back in, but he mishit the volley. Goal kick.
You just feel like Atlanta has run out of ideas. Steve, you mentioned a patient build-up, but there's nothing incisive in and around the Seattle penalty area, nothing to really trouble Islander, although they have had their chances. Most of them have kind of come out of nothing, though.
Let's catch up with Bobby Howe on the sidelines. Bobby?
Interesting substitution there for Seattle. They've put Merle into midfield, and I would imagine that they'll go with Letou on his own up front and push Levesque out wide on the left. So it seems like the Sounders want to counter the additional player that Atlanta pushed into midfield when they went into a 3-5-2 situation. But now possession is key for both teams. You know, the best form of defense for Seattle at this time is to keep the ball. It is also the best way to run down the clock. Over to you guys.
Absolutely. Thanks, Mr. Bobby Howe down there on the sideline as Atlanta make another change. It's the captain, Rios, coming off. Just weary legs there, tired legs, and into the game, the pacey Trinidadian striker, Wolf. Away by Seattle. Butte heads across to Giroud. And still Giroud. Heavy touch. And was knocked off balance at the halfway line. Free kick Atlanta.
A little bit of a continuation foul there. Giroud was touched. No early whistle, but once he clearly lost possession, whistled the foul.
Pretty good skill by the big man as he pushes forward now. All bodies in the Atlanta half of the field, they've pushed up now.
Revio plays it forward. Headed up and away by Seattle. Merle with his first touch gets it clear. Now Kanji, level with the 18. Bit of trickery from the young midfielder. Antoniak across. Wasn't very much of a shot. And Atlanta keep it alive. Here's Revio. Chips in. Headed away by Seattle. That's going to be a free kick for the Sounders as Levesque is knocked to the ground just outside the 18-yard box.
Bobby Howe talked about Sebastian Letou being the lone striker now. And all sorts of Seattle Sounders lining up at the edge of the 18. There's just no way to break them down.
Jason Smith, he's made his attacking changes. Head coach of the Atlanta Silverbacks. There's Levesque. That's a great header from Giroud to the halfway line. A nice flick from Antoniak. Jackson there first. Shepherds it back to Islander. Good clearance. Butte now for Atlanta. To Bobo. Up to Lancaster on the right. Wolf shows for it and collects. Almost dispossessed. Now switch to the left side. Giroud. Forward to Hayes. Revio chips down the line. Hayes is onside if he can get there, but he won't catch up to the ball. Goal kick it for Seattle.
A great idea there. 3-man combination play by Atlanta. And Hayes, I didn't think he was going to, thought he was going to get the return pass to Revio. Sort of sneaks behind the 2 defenders. I like the way Revio's played since he's checked in. Had that long-range shot similar to Greg Howes. But as you said, Paul, really that line of defenders for Seattle really not even allowing the shot.
10 minutes to go. Atlanta need a goal to get back into this game. Trailing by 2. McIntosh scuffs it away to the halfway line, and it wasn't a good touch from Kanji. Now here's Letou. Seattle looking for a third with Trishuk. Plays it wide to Cuellar. Whips the cross in. Oh, good save, McIntosh. Gives Atlanta a lifeline. Revillo. Knocked down at the halfway line. Play on, says the referee. Seattle very close to taking a third goal lead. Away by Seattle again. Butte will drop it back into the box, and Islander a comfortable catch at the edge of the 18.
How about that reaction save by McIntosh? Clearly could have been the game.
I don't think McIntosh knew much about it, but he was in the right position. Another good ball from Alcaraz-Cuellar, trying to get on the score sheet for the third time tonight. And Latou diving at that one, stopped by McIntosh.
He's got in between the two defenders there, Latou. They're appealing for handball, not given. So play continues with Sakuda, the right back. Now Correa inside the last 10 minutes to Latou. Tackled by Bobo. And give it away though. And Howes plays it out to Sakuda. Now Correa again. Heavy challenge from Jeroen. Still with Seattle as they chip into the middle. And breaks down at the edge of the box. Poor clearance. Merle. Out to the far side. Howes can strike it. It takes a deflection. And there is a third goal. Atlanta can't believe it. Unlucky. But they all count, and it's Seattle 3, Atlanta 0.
It looks as if he's trying to take the shoe off there. As we saw Kelly Smith, the English player at the Women's World Cup, show off her boot. And there it is. And that substitution in the first half, Leighton O'Brien, the Seattle midfielder, making way for Greg Howes, and what a move it's proved to be. O'Brien injured, Howes coming on and taking his chances. That one taking the deflection to fool McIntosh. No chance for the Atlanta keeper. You would think, Steve, that this one now is pretty much insurmountable.
Yeah, you sensed it was coming there. Atlanta with two poor clearances and a hard deflection off Matt Bobo. Bobo was the guy right in front for the third goal as Scott goes down.
Looked to me like Howes was signaling like he wanted to come off after he scored that goal, but remains in the game.
Or put different shoes on, maybe. He was subbing his shoe out.
There you go. He's on a hat-trick, of course, now. Scott's going to soldier on. It's going to be a free kick for Seattle.
Well, so much depth in this Sounder lineup for a player who wasn't even in the starting 11 to come on and have such an impact on this game.
Headed up and away now by Matt Bobo. Lancaster plays it back to McIntosh. Scuffs his clearance out to the far side. Here we have a look at the shot.
See, Bobo was going in there, and just unfortunate for Bobo. Running the wrong way, nothing McIntosh can obviously do about that one.
It goes back to what we said in the first half, where a shot on goal is never a bad option. Deflections, rebounds, anything can happen when you hit it towards goal.
I'm not a fan of calling own goals as well. I think that could have been in the far post, might have been in the other way, so Bobo just hit it in the other side.
Yeah, absolutely. That one doesn't go to the dubious goals committee, Steve. That's a Greg Howes strike as Seattle get it away. Hayes will lift it forward. Atlanta still trying here, as well they might. It'll be a free kick for the Silverbacks just inside the Seattle half. And they'll send everybody forward now. Lancaster, Jeroen, at their height in the box. Driven in. Islander missed it. And the shot on target, and it's saved and scuffed away. In the end, it'll be a corner kick.
Well, they talked about Islander playing out of his skull. And certainly in the Puerto Rico series, I talked to Brian Schmetzer before this game. He thinks he should have been a first-team All-Star this year, and he is having another great game. He's in no man's land here after he flaps at the punch, but look how he makes his way back into the sixth and keeps that one off the board.
In-swinger from the far side, and Wolf met the ball, but his header wide of the target.
Brian Schmetzer again. To add to your point, Paul, he said in 27 years of being involved with soccer, he never saw anything like Islanders saves in Puerto Rico. Said that game easily could have been 5-2. Islander kept them in it. They were leaving, heading back to Seattle at the airport, and there were some people that were fans of Puerto Rico that went up and just said that goalie was unbelievable after the game, and he's the reason they're here in at the championship tonight.
Throw in Seattle right in front of the Atlanta bench.
I talked to a couple of the Puerto Rico players last week after the game here, and they were scratching their heads as well, wondering how they could beat Islander, saying that they haven't seen a goalkeeping performance like that in ages. So Chris Islander, although not integral in the 3-0 victory tonight based on the fact that the Sounders have scored 3 times. Remember, he kept them in it at 0-0 when he made the great save in the first half off of Oka.
Absolutely. As the rain continues to pour down here at the Starfire Complex just outside Seattle.
Get it out. Out.
As Kanji steps in and wins it from Sakuda. Tries to play it back to Wolf, but Trishuk steps up, and Seattle get it clear. Now Jerome plays it forward for Millward. Rolls it into the path of Ravillo, and it's another chance for Atlanta. And it'll be another corner kick for the Silverbacks.
And you just see the confidence in Islander right now. He cannot be beat. Soccer, a game of taking chances, and that is a stupendous save, sticking the left hand out.
I know they're going to get 3 goals, but the MVP has got to be the guy in the nets right there. He has just been solid. A couple huge saves, great goals. Again, Greg Howells will be an obvious candidate on the other side.
The 2's going to be replaced here in the late going. Tomlinson in. Congratulations all round on the sideline. They know they've done enough now. As the ball is headed awkwardly back by Scott Butte, and Atlanta will concede a corner kick.
Well, they call Craig Tomlinson the fastest man in the USL First Division, or at least he'll tell you that. Bernie James, the former Sounder coach, used to tell me how quick he was. And there you look at Walters, Tweety Walters, who made an appearance last week, and perhaps a case of too little, too late, with just a couple of minutes of regulation time left to play.
Never know. As Lancaster comes off, Walters goes in. A corner kick for Seattle. The referee wants them to get on with it. Cuellar. Good ball in, and Tomlinson, with his first touch of the game, heads over the top.
Alcaraz Cuellar, so dangerous from those set pieces. And he has had a strong game. Steve talking about who the man of the match is tonight. Islander certainly consideration. Greg Howells has had an excellent game. And Alcaraz Cuellar certainly among the top 3 players in this match as well. So we'll see who that honor falls to.
Antoniak plays it forward. It took a deflection on the way through. That'll be another corner for Atlanta. Kanji, the player across there, he's going to take the restart. Plays it in, and volleyed clear by Seattle. Throw in Atlanta. Ravillo drives it in again. Bobo heads forward. Antoniak leans into the challenge, but it's going to be Seattle to get it away. Not fully clear, though. It bounces back. Dangerous there for a second as Millward fires high.
Silverbacks just queuing up, but can't take their chances tonight. And now, not only they're running into 8 or 9 Sounder defenders, but if and when they get by them, they've got Islander to beat as well.
We're seeing 3 minutes held up by the 4th official of time added on. And we're into those 3 minutes now.
Remember to stay in your
away
seat.
from Atlanta.
After the conclusion of the game,
Pearl
the presentation
heads forward.
will immediately follow the match.
And the full house here, the Seattle fans can taste victory almost. Job well done by Coach Brian Schmetzer. Terrific season. And it looks like they're going to cap it with a USL First Division Championship win. It'll be a free kick now for Seattle. And can he get the ball across? It's tackled, and it'll be a corner kick for the Sounders.
Well, Bobby Howe and I did a game midway through the season when the Portland Timbers were flying atop the USL First Division standings, but Bobby mentioned that he thought the team to beat was the Seattle Sounders, and they went on to win 11 of their next 14 and have cruised through the playoffs.
We're in, oh, good save, and it will be a fourth goal for Seattle, and it's the substitute Tomlinson who hammers it home.
And things
what a finish.
Only get better for the Seattle Sounders. Every move they've made tonight has worked. Craig Tomlinson, who hasn't seen a lot of playing time this year, the veteran for the Sounders, comes in and off the scramble inside the area. After the header from Levesque was well saved, it is Tomlinson who cashes in, and the Sounders go away. Huge 4-0 winners tonight. Still a minute or so left to play. But an emphatic exclamation mark to their victory tonight.
Tomlinson will get booked for removing his shirt, I'm sure, as Atlanta fly forward, looking for a consolation. You'd think at this point it runs behind. It'll be a goal kick for Seattle. The substitutes, the coaching staff, they're off the bench looking on. They can't wait for the final whistle. Neither can the crowd. Highlander to drive it away. Giroud heads back to the halfway line. And cleared into touch. A throw in for Atlanta. Not much time left here. Revillo earns Atlanta a corner kick. Seattle 4, Atlanta 0. Atlanta with possession inside the 18-yard box. It comes across the middle. Headed away, but there's the final whistle. And Seattle prevail, defeating Atlanta by a score of 4-0. And it's a 4th USL championship for the Sounders.
And they did it in style tonight as the fans invade the pitch here at Starfire Sports Stadium, and the Sounders all in unison, huddling around Chris Islander, the goalkeeper, with another clean sheet, and they are jubilant, and deservingly so.
Comprehensive performance from Seattle. 2 goals from Greg Howes, a brace for the substitute who came on after O'Brien had to leave the game through injury. Cuea with an excellent strike, and then the final goal in the 90th minute from Craig Tomlinson, just rubbing salt in the wound. Atlanta look absolutely devastated as we see the Seattle fans coming onto the field to join in the celebration with their team.
Well, their last championship in 2005 up at Quest Field, the big stadium in downtown Seattle. Not the opportunity that you see here at Crossfire, or Starfire rather, where all the fans are circled around the field and out there to celebrate with their team, a team that topped the USL First Division regular season standings and then got by both Carolina and Puerto Rico to get to this final match, which as hosts, they win 4-0 in style. You look at Taylor Graham there, man of the hour. Greg Howes, who opened the scoring, and it was at critical time too, just before the stroke of halftime, which is always a big one for the team that scores it, and a deflating one for the team that sees it go in the back of their own net.
Scored just before halftime and never looked back. terrific season for Seattle, not just in the USL First Division, but also in the US Open Cup, where they went all the way to the semi-finals, knocking off 2 MLS sides en route.
Including a thrashing of Colorado, a 5-0 victory. And there was a key contributor too, Kenji Treshuk, who scored that vital goal against Puerto Rico. And Craig Tomlinson, who put the icing on the cake tonight with the 4th goal in stoppage time.
Terrific night for Seattle then, as we look at Atlanta. Taylor Graham making the rounds, offering his condolences. They played well and created some chances, but it was Islander, really, the goalkeeper for Seattle, who was absolutely adamant he wasn't going to let anything by him.
Well, it's individual plays within a 90-minute game that can turn the flow or the tide of a game. And his stop, which he tipped over the bar on Warrenoka in the first half, was the really big first save of the game. And he went on to stonewall the Silverbacks time and time again. And you see the big smile on the youngster's face there. He'll have a bright future ahead of him.
Absolutely super performance from Islander. Excellent all-round performance from Seattle. And an emphatic 4-0 win over the Atlanta Silverbacks in the USL First Division Championship game. It rained. It started raining about an hour before kickoff, and it's gradually got worse, Paul, but it hasn't stopped the crowd. They've been absolutely fantastic. A full house here tonight. Big, big crowd on hand, and they got the result they wanted.
The Sounders are a team that plays so well within their system. They all know their roles. We talked about who may be the man of the match tonight, and it's really hard to pick from Islander, Hugo Aquez, Cuellar, Greg Howes, who came in. Latu had a strong game up front with Levesque. Really strong contributions from the entire starting 11 and the substitutes who came on. As the Sounders now go to that big crowd under the grandstand at Starfire.
Just looking down at the Atlanta head coach, Jason Smith, is every reason to hold his head up high here. They came out and played Atlanta, and as we said, they created chances, but Seattle just too strong, and at home it was never in doubt, wasn't it? From probably the opening goal.
But as you mentioned too, Andrew, full credit to the Atlanta Silverbacks, who had a terrific season after missing the playoffs last year, finishing 4th this year, and coming into the den of the team that had won the USL Championship 3 times and saying, let's go out and attack ourselves. And they did. They didn't just sit back and wait for their counter opportunities. They went after the Sounders, created some good chances, but just couldn't get it by the back four and Islander. And amazingly, too, for the Sounders, remember, they missed the playoffs last year after having won the championship the year before, so an unfamiliar position for them last season. And they rebound in fine form to win the 2007 USL 1 championship.
You can see the delight on the players' faces. Long season. They'd have come in early March. Seems like an age away now, as they prepare for the Cup celebration. Atlanta looking on. It's tough, but someone's got to lose the game. There's Rodrigo Rios, the skipper, and the goalkeeper there, McIntosh, who, to be fair to him, despite the scoreline, he really didn't have a bad game.
McIntosh really got the Silverbacks through to this final match after an incredible save last week in Portland, and then making a couple of penalty stops as well. And really, as you say, Andrew, no chance on the goals tonight. Alcaraz Cuellar is an absolute beauty, the goal of the game for sure. He ripped it from just inside 30 yards to the top post. As you see, the number 77 there, and Taylor Graham, who's made his way back to the Sounders.
That's right, Graham and Seb Latu It's all smiles now, isn't it, with Coach Brian Schmetzer. It's a big weight off. I suppose once the whistle goes to start the game. As Seattle celebrate then. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll have the post-game analysis. USL First Division Championship game tonight from Starfire. The final score, Seattle 4, Atlanta 0.
If you don't want facial treatments with sharp instruments, try this premium moisturizing tool.
New Olay Regenerist Microsculpting Cream. It hydrates for firmer looking skin to regenerate skin's appearance, even across the jawline.
Under the knife, not on your life.
For you, there's new Olay Regenerist Microsculpting Cream. Love the skin you're in.
Is the shade you bought not the one you thought? Here's the one you should have got, True Blend. CoverGirl True Blend foundations and pressed powders match 97% of skin tones, so you just can't miss. True Blend matches so seamlessly, you don't know where your makeup ends and your own skin begins. We guarantee it, or your money back. And now, with True Blend blushes and bronzers, your total look is always true to you. True Blend can't miss makeup from easy breezy, beautiful CoverGirl.
Time to upgrade. Excuse me? Upgrade. Ooh, upgrade. Hello. Introducing the three-way leak protection of new Tampax. With anti-slip grip, built-in backup skirt, and absorbent core for outstanding protection. New Tampax. Now that's an upgrade.
Want to make your home feel noticeably fresh? Take the Febreze 7-Day Challenge. First, put away those other freshening products. Then, for the next 7 days, make Febreze part of your tidy-up routine. Many of the surfaces in your home are soft surfaces that can hold on to odors. Febreze finds those odors and cleans them away as it dries. Take the Febreze 7-Day Challenge to eliminate odors and freshen fabrics, guaranteed or your money back. Go ahead, spray on, freshness lovers, spray on.
Hi, I'd like something for dandruff control, but I also want shine.
Do you have a dandruff shampoo that also controls frizz?
Or for sensitive scalp? Why do shampoo companies expect everyone to use the same dandruff shampoo? Head & Shoulders, Canada's #1 selling dandruff shampoo, has 9 shampoos. So no matter what your hair type, you get healthy-looking hair free of visible flakes.
Could you tell me where the sure cat food is?
Head & Shoulders, there's one just for you.
Okay, the song goes, nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Nausea. Diarrhea. Expectorismo. Upset. Silverbacks. Indigestion. Stomach. Diarrhea.
When it comes to the relief of these stomach problems, all you need to know is Pep.
Welcome back to the 2007 USL Championship, where Seattle Sounders dominated the final. They were on top all regular season, and no different here in the championship game, winning 4-0 over the Atlanta Silverbacks. Steve Bell here with MVP Greg Howes. Greg, you didn't start the game, but you sure had your impact on it.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately for late, he's our leader out here. He's been a leader for years here, and pulled his groin, and I got in there, minimum warm-up, and was able to get a good finish, send us into halftime, and the second half was, it was fun. The last 10 minutes was a party out here, up 3-0, and the last one to close it out. And first championship, 8 years in this league, and it feels great. I was on the losing end last year, and I'll tell you, I'll trade this for anything.
Talk about how special that is personally for you. Obviously playing in Rochester last year, at home against Vancouver, losing the final 2 years in a row in the championship. A lot better this year.
I mean, to get the finals isn't easy, and it's 2 in a row back-to-back, and to be here at home with my family, my friends, and this is my hometown, and to be able to bring a championship here to Seattle is just, there's no feeling like it. That's why we play, since we've been playing since we were kids, is to win, and to win championships and to do it on this level, on this stage, in front of our home fans is just awesome.
Talk a little bit about the first goal. Obviously, Atlanta held in for the first 45 minutes. Looked like it was going to be scoreless at half. Walk us through your goal.
Well, Kevin got the ball out wide. He played a good ball. I think it was up into Sebastian, who laid a ball to the flank to Hugo, who played with Hugo in Portland. We got a good connection when we get out on the field together. He played a good ball, one touch into the box, and I was able to let it bounce, take a little touch off my chest, and keeper came out, and I slotted it in the net. And it was a huge goal going in 1-0, compared to 0-0. They had to come after us the second half, and, when teams do that, we're able to pick them apart in the second half, and that's a classic example of what happened tonight. Your second goal was a dagger. We spoke the entire game about your long-range shooting. You had them on the ropes there. Talk about your second goal. Well, I mean, again, we kind of caught them there spread out, and they played, an easy little ball at the top of the 18. I took one touch inside, and, I hit it hard and on frame, and I thought it was going in the corner, and fortunately I hit a defender and took a deflection right in the middle of the goal, and you like to see them go right in the corner, but deflections, however they are, especially in a championship's pretty outstanding. So it's it's a great feeling, and I can't wait to get over there and share it with my teammates. We'll go do that now. Greg Howell is the MVP of the championship game. 2 straight championship games in a losing effort last year against Rochester. He's your MVP as Seattle wins 4-0. Let's take a look now at the trophy presentation.
Brilliant night for Seattle. There's the MVP, Greg Howells. Interesting listening to him talking with Steve. Of course, he did play in the championship game last year. Suffered the loss that night, but like he said, he'd trade that in. Wouldn't trade this in for the world. Hometown MVP, what a story.
Last year was another convincing win for the Whitecaps, a 3-0 win in Rochester, so he's seen it from both sides, and obviously a lot sweeter to win it, as he said too, as a hometown guy in front of his own fans and his family here. It's a special occasion.
Francisco Marcos hands the trophy to Brian Jackson. Danny Jackson, there you have it. Seattle Sounders 2007 USL 1 champions. And it is all smiles. Leighton O'Brien, as we watch Latu chase down Tomlinson.
All the best. Quickest guy in the field. But he's savoring this, isn't he, in front of the fans there. He seems to be among the happiest in the bunch. Alvarez Cuellar with his first championship.
And why not?
Well, they're tough to come by. The USL with the 12 teams. And the Sounders, who have been able to make their way back to the final year after year, it seems. They lost just the one time they made it to the final in Montreal in 2004. But certainly one of the best all-time United Soccer League's franchises, the Seattle Sounders.
And what a performance tonight, really across the board. Starting at the back with Islander, who, as we discussed, had an absolutely stellar game all the way through to the front line. There's Latu, who gets the somehow he got the trophy back off Tomlinson.
I think they're taking the mickey out of them there, letting him go for a lap of honor on his own.
Brilliant stuff. Atlanta departed. They've seen enough. Tough night for the Silverbacks, but it's their first foray into the postseason, and they did well, of course. Talking to Coach Smith this afternoon, he said his goal at the start of the season was just to get to the playoffs, and they made it even further and wound up in the championship game.
And not only did they make the playoffs, they finished in the top 4 after missing the playoffs last year. And they played an attacking style of soccer, an attractive brand of football to watch this season, leading the league in goals with 40. And despite the 4-0 scoreline tonight, really they had their chances. They just didn't bury them. So a terrific season for the Atlanta Silverbacks, but it is the Seattle Sounders who are champions once again.
All right, let's head back to the field where Steve Bell is going to rejoin us.
Thanks, guys. Here with head coach Brian Schmetzer, whose Seattle Sounders have just been dominant as of late, on top of the tables the entire season. Dream ending for you guys.
Sure was. Dream ending. You know, happy for Craig Thompson, been here 9 years, scored a goal. Happy for Greg Howes to come home in front of his family and score what started off the game on a positive note just before halftime. Chris Islander, I got to talk about him because he kept us in the game, because Atlanta was putting all sorts of pressure on us. He kept us in the game, so, you know, you couldn't wish for a better ending.
Let's talk first about Greg Howes, the first one you mentioned. We talked earlier today, blue-collar work ethic, likes to get in the starting lineup, didn't get the start, but huge impact tonight.
Yeah, of course. I mean, he's a veteran guy in this league. He's won championships indoors. He's a goal scorer. He saw an opportunity, went forward from a midfield position to score that goal, and that's great.
You talked before about your keeper Islander and the performance he had against Puerto Rico to get you guys here to the championship. He made some huge saves again tonight.
Yeah, he should be championship series MVP. He should have been voted on the first team. You know, maybe I'm biased. Josh Wick certainly had a great season. You know, Matt Jordan, but, you know, we witnessed it tonight. We witnessed it down in Puerto Rico. He's great.
Talk about the play in the midfield as well. You guys controlled a lot of it. Atlanta threw some things at you early on and looked like it might be scoreless at halftime. What'd you tell your team at the break?
Well, not to give anything away because we were ahead 1-0, but I just told them that we need better possession in the second half. I thought we could have done a little bit better job even in the first half of keeping possession in their third of the field. You know, we were a bit rushed there, so we settled down a little bit. We withstood their pressure in the first 15 minutes of the second half. And then after we got the second goal, then kind of opened things up.
Another guy we talked about, Craig Tomlinson, who turns 35 on Monday. Great birthday present you gave him.
Yeah, well, hey, I couldn't wish for anything more. Great guy, you know, good goal. Happy for him. If he's going to end his career on that note, well, why not?
Can't get any better than that. Head coach Brian Schmetzer, another championship for the Seattle Sounders. Thanks so much for your time. I'm going to send it back to you guys in the booth.
Thank you, Steve. Great stuff listening to Coach Schmetzer, who won a championship here just 2 years ago. You mentioned, Paul, last year, of course, they were unlucky. Many people felt they were unlucky not to make the playoffs. They missed it by a point. Just suffered some injuries at the start of the season and then had a problem with a couple of red-carded suspended players at the end of the year. But honestly, the team last year wasn't a lot different than this year's side. Just a couple of additions. Notably, I suppose, Islander in goal. Latu, who, what a terrific find that was. But in essence, this is a team that started this championship run with that big championship win in 2005.
No, you're right, Andrew. It wasn't a team that was completely different from last year's, although the players that you mentioned were very good pickups. Islander had a terrific season. And he came through in the clutch, too, more importantly, in the playoffs and in the final match here. And Sebastian Latu, who led the league in goals scored with 10 this season, was an impact player up front for the Sounders. And you can't forget Greg Howes himself, who comes over from Rochester to Seattle.
I believe Steve Bell has pulled someone else away from the melee. We're going to have another interview down on the field.
Yeah, that someone is goalkeeper Chris Islander. Heard the coach talking about him, Brian Schmetzer, talking about his performance. Outstanding. He had some huge saves in this one tonight.
Yeah, I did. I ended up having one big save in the first half when a guy got a volley. I just had enough time just to take a step back and pray the ball over the bar. In the second half, I also had a corner kick come in where I really didn't have good vision of the ball. The ball popped off. It's kind of a similar thing. I just had enough time to parry the ball over the bar. And then from then on, you know, there were some chances they had, but the chances they had were from tighter angles. Situations like that, we have done a lot of work training on those in the season, and just making sure you get your body in a good position and just be able to react to the ball. And so I had a couple of saves as well. Yeah, I would definitely say the most work I had was the 2 balls where I just had to react and tip them over the bar.
Great reaction saves all night. Talk a little bit about the play of the 4 defenders in front of you, denying a lot of shots. They tried clawing back into the game. They were there for you the entire night.
Yeah, I mean, and I can't really say, basically that is how they've been the whole entire season, and that's why we've had such a good record. That's why we have had very good goals against average as well, is because my defenders in front of me are working hard the whole entire game. They're very talented players. They are very mature players as well that don't really allow a lot of chances to happen. They're strong as well, and they're able to body players up and really alleviate a lot of chances for goals.
Talk about how deep your team is as well. You look at 3 of the 4 goals tonight from subs, 2 from Howes. Tomlinson comes on the end and scores as well. You guys were deep the entire season.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually been an interesting season because we have had such a talented group of players. I mean, we have these players who could probably play on any other team and play the whole match, but it's really been a challenge this whole year for players to earn their spot, to continue to keep on playing in matches. And I think that's something that has allowed our team to continue to excel and continue to get better. Is just the individual talent we have and the players that are pushing each other in practice to make ourselves better on the field.
Your coach told us the story about the unbelievable series you had against Puerto Rico, the saves you made. You didn't make a lot of friends there in Puerto Rico, I heard. The game could easily have been 5-2. Talk about your encounter at the airport with the guy who tracked you down.
Oh, man, he ended up tracking me down, and he had a few not-so-nice words to say to me, but they were all in good fun, so it was okay.
You're doing a much better job telling the story. He basically said he couldn't believe you kicked his team out of the running in the semis because all the unbelievable saves you had. Where does Seattle go from this? Again, 3 championships in 4 years. You guys continue to work. Got a lot of guys back next year.
I mean, yeah, and definitely we have a lot of players that are going to be back, and I know our players and our coaches are going to go and want to do the same thing again, and especially the success we've had in Open Cup. I mean, I know that's something that our team would like to build on for next year. To continue to make even a deeper run into Open Cup and continue to go out, be successful in the league, and then go have another run at the championship again.
Awesome job tonight. Another shutout for the keeper. We'll send it back to you guys up in the booth.
Thank you, Steve Bell. Down there with Islander, the goalkeeper, Chris Islander. Must have been a close runner-up for MVP. He did have a good game. Very modest young man. And as his coach said, Coach Brian Schmetzer said, he was the difference maker in the semi-final series with Puerto Rico, particularly down there at Juan Lubriel Stadium, which is a difficult place to go and grind out a result. So congratulations to that young man. And as you said before, he really does have a bright future.
And you know, he's another hometown boy too, who played at the University of Washington, as he talks to friends and family there on the side of the field. And what a feeling that is to be a champion at such a young age and to play such an integral part, not just in the playoff run and the final, but throughout this regular season that saw the Sounders win the Commissioner's Cup as the first place team in the league.
I'm just trying to think the last time someone won the Commissioner's Cup and the championship game in the same season. It's been a while. Let's rejoin Steve Bell down on the stadium field.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Here with owner Adrian Hanauer. The word that keeps popping to mind is a dream ending to a dream season. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, you can't ask for much more than a 4-0 victory in a championship. So, yeah, great win. Brian Schmetzer had the guys organized, and they did the job.
You talk a little bit about how Seattle was really on top of the tables the entire season. The last 18 games, only lost twice. #1 seed, the first #1 seed to actually complete the sweep and win the championship as well as the regular season. Dominant all season long.
Yeah, we had a great season. You know, the beginning of the season didn't feel so good. We were, I think, 1-4-3, and I was starting to have some second thoughts. But yeah, we came on strong, made a great run in the Open Cup. The guys got confident. You know, Coach Schmetzer always says winning is contagious. It clearly is, and yeah, they just took care of business all season long.
Talk about that Open Cup performance. Obviously, USL teams did fantastic across the board in the Open Cup. You guys made it all the way to the semis. How much confidence did that make for your team?
I think it gave them a lot of confidence. I really do think that is where maybe there was a bit of a change in the team. We beat Chivas 3-1, and the guys felt really good, sort of rolling towards the playoffs.
Brian Schmetzer, you mentioned his name. Really, you hear a lot of talk about the Rochester Raging Rhinos and the dynasty with that. You guys are quietly going about a dynasty right here, aren't you?
Yeah, you know, it's been a good 6 years. The last 4 years, played for 3 championships, win a couple. You know, I can't say enough about Brian identifying talent, developing the players, getting a good team chemistry together, you know, making the right tactical decisions on the field. So, you know, I'd love to think that I could take a little credit for it, but I have to hand it off to Schmetz and the guys.
Obviously, we said it before, a dream ending. I have to ask the question, obviously, with something like this, where do you go from here?
Well, you know, you just sort of celebrate for a while, get organized in the morning, and you know, start to think about winning games in the future.
Fantastic. Congratulations, Adrian Hanauer, the owner of the Seattle Sounders. Back to you guys in the booth.
Thanks again, Steve. Adrian Hanauer, what a gentleman. Actually, we were in town yesterday. There was a meeting for the USL One owners, and it finished about 7 o'clock, and Adrian Hanauer took everybody out to dinner. Terrific gesture. Actually, the Atlanta Silverbacks owner, Boris Jakunica, was there, and they sat down together last night, had dinner, had a laugh and a joke, which, of course, you can before the game, but a great character, and I must say I'm pleased for Adrian. All right, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll continue the post-game analysis. It was the USL First Division Championship game. The final score tonight, Seattle 4, Atlanta 0, as Seattle claimed their 4th crown.
For years, I focused on just wrinkles. Now I fight the look of what can age me most.
It's a definite. Breakthrough Olay Definity Foam fights the look of what can age you most. Discoloration, brown spots, plus wrinkles.
The dark ages of fighting just the look of wrinkles are history.
For luminous, highly defined skin, Olay Definity Foam. Definitely love the skin you're in.
Is the shade you bought not the one you thought? Here's the one you should have got, True Blend. CoverGirl True Blend foundations and pressed powders match 97% of skin tones, so you just can't miss. True Blend matches so seamlessly, you don't know where your makeup ends and your own skin begins. We guarantee it, or your money back. And now, with True Blend blushes and bronzers, your total look is always true to you. True Blend can't miss makeup from easy breezy, beautiful CoverGirl.
It may look like an ordinary white strip, but this new strip works in just 5 minutes to give you a brighter, more beautiful smile every day.
Introducing Crest White Strips Daily Multi-Care. It works in 3 ways. 1, it removes surface stains. 2, whitens by deep cleaning. 3, it protects against the buildup of everyday stains.
This is the brightest 5 minutes of my day.
Satisfaction guaranteed. New Crest White Strips Daily Multi-Care.
Okay, the song goes, nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Nausea. Diarrhea. Expectorismo. Upset stomach. Indigestion. Stomach. Diarrhea.
When it comes to the relief of these stomach problems, all you need to know is
Want to make your home feel noticeably fresh? Take the Febreze 7-Day Challenge. First, put away those other freshening products. Then, for the next 7 days, make Febreze part of your tidy-up routine. Many of the surfaces in your home are soft surfaces that can hold on to odors. Febreze finds those odors and cleans them away as it dries. Take the Febreze 7-Day Challenge to eliminate odors and freshen fabrics, guaranteed or your money back. Go ahead, spray on, freshness lovers, spray on.
If you don't want facial treatments with sharp instruments, try this premium moisturizing tool.
New Olay Regenerist Microsculpting Cream. It hydrates for firmer looking skin to regenerate skin's appearance, even across the jawline.
Under the knife, Not on your life.
For you, there's new Olay Regenerist Micro-Sculpting Cream. Love the skin you're in.
Welcome back to Seattle, where the championship game of 2007 is in the books. The #1 seed Seattle Sounders dominating the Atlanta Silverbacks by a score of 4-0. Now here on the field side with one of the key defenders for the Seattle Sounders and a key member of his family, Zach Scott. Zach, who we have here?
This is my son, Calais Scott.
And Calais got a big birthday. How old is he going to turn tomorrow?
He's going to be 2 tomorrow.
2 years old, and he's got a big birthday present, doesn't he? The medal that you've got around your neck. Great win tonight. Talk a little bit about the defense for Seattle in this one.
It was definitely a tough game, but all year, our defense has stuck together. We really came together the last half of the season, and, we knew if we could keep a clean sheet that our offense was going to get a couple goals for us, and fortunately, that's exactly what happened.
Talk about the clean sheet. A lot of that great saves in the back by Islander helping out in the Puerto Rico game, but the 4 in front of them denied a lot of the shots in the first half and then towards the end of the game as well.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's, Islander has been absolutely spectacular, all season and especially in the postseason. And, again, it's just our defense, really, again, coming together and trying to limit as much shots as we can. But, when they do get through, Islander's there to stop them all.
Talk a little about, you had great play from the subs tonight. Obviously, Greg Howe's a guy who can start on a lot of teams. Unfortunately, Leighton Bryan goes down. Howe steps in and gets that critical goal before half.
Well, that's really, again, a testament to, us being a good team. Guys can come off the bench and be a huge impact. And, that's exactly what Greg and Craig did today. We got 2 goals and 1 goal from both of our subs.
Also, you got Latou up top and Levesque. Those guys did a lot of the work, creating a lot of the pressure. Didn't go in the books, but talk about their effort tonight.
Oh, those guys are just, just a tireless effort every game. They're chasing down defenders. They're creating, opportunities for other players, not even the 2 of them. So, that's, again, just a testament to, the relationship they've formed throughout the year.
You mentioned before about your run in the Open Cup. Really a dream season for you guys. One of the first teams in the last 8 years to win the regular season, to win the championship. But not only that, you look at the run you had in the semis. What more could you have done?
I really don't know. Everybody talks about that, #1 seed curse, that they don't get through to the finals very often. And we were very fortunate, again, to just, click at the right time.
Fantastic. I think your son, for a birthday present tomorrow, might want a camera. But congratulations on the championship. Enjoy the birthday party tomorrow. Send it to you guys up in the booth.
Steve Bell, thank you very much. It looked like the young Zach Scott was having a swipe at Steve there a couple of times.
Well, Zach Scott, a native of Hawaii and playing in the cold conditions tonight, but it suited the Sounders just fine. Most of the players, hometown boys from this area, grew up playing in the wet fall season here. It was perfect conditions for them. And as you look at Sebastian Latou making his way over towards Steve Bell, we'll have a word with the Frenchman in just a moment. But as Zach alluded to, he and Roger Levesque teaming up as a great partnership this year.
Let's see what Sebastian has to say, joining us.
Obviously, we couldn't go without talking to the MVP of the league this year. Sebastian Latou jumped onto the scene and really dominated. Took care of defenders all season long, and a great effort tonight from you.
Yes, it's very good. We win 4-0. I think if we said before the game we have a tough game like that with a 4 goal, nobody believes that. So I'm very proud of my team and of this season of me. I'm MVP yesterday, and today wins the final. So it's very good, and it's a very good season.
Talk a little bit about the play between you and your strike partner, Roger Levesque. Levesque's up there. You guys seem to work so well together. Drew a lot of the attention. Didn't go in the books tonight, but a lot of the running that you did caused some goals.
Yeah, I like play with Roger because we have the good run together, and sometimes I don't see him and he don't see me, and we know where we are in the field. So it's very good. It's a good player because he do lots of run like me on the field. We defend, we attack, so it's very good, and we pose lots of problems to the defense. And with Roger, I pass a very good year together in front because he gives me lots of assists, and when he scores, sometimes I give him 2 assists, so it's very good, and I like play with him.
someone who likes you playing for his team is Brian Schmetzer. Obviously a great coach here, winning 2 championships in the last 2 years. What's it like playing for him?
Yeah, it's me. I really like play for him, and because he chose me, to give my chance to play in this team, and he post me on forward, this year, and I do a good job, and I really want to say for him a big thank you, because without him and without, this vision to put me in front, I think I have no the MVP this year. So it's a very good coach, and I'm very happy to him to the win tonight, and because it's a very, very, very good coach. So thank you for him.
You look like you were having a fun time with that trophy, the trophy celebration sprint. It didn't look like you were tired at all. You kept running even faster with the trophy. But to that end, talk a little about the crowd here, how they got behind you, and how important were they tonight?
Yeah, when you win the final, after you don't feel the tying. So I can run and take the cup and, bring the cup for everybody to take the picture, because it's very important, we have spent a season together, and it's important, to live that together for past the last moment, because tomorrow it's a vacation and everybody go in each city where they live, and I think maybe we don't see after, so it's important to pass this last time together.
Fantastic. Great job all season long. Great job in the final tonight. League MVP with a great effort tonight in the Seattle win as they beat Atlanta by a score of 4-0. Back to you guys in the booth.
Thank you, Steve. I think we're going to get a chance to look at those 4 goals in just a second. Latu, what a season he's had, and let's see if we can look at the chances here, Paul.
Well, Atlanta had the first one that went just wide, and then just before the stroke of halftime, Greg Howes with the goal. And you see there Coach Schmetzer urging his players on. Alcaraz Cuellar with the turning point in the game, really up 1-0 at the time. That pretty much sealed it for them. Revillo comes on as a sub and forces Islander into a save early, and then the deflected goal that hits Bobo and goes in. Another great save from Islanders. He steers that one around the post. And then in the dying moments after Levesque is stopped, Tomlinson isn't. And the Sounders with a convincing 4-0 championship win here in Seattle.
There you see it. The championship for Seattle. Terrific night. And the players rightly celebrating after the trophy is raised. Great night for the Sounders. Great night for Seattle. 4-0 winners over the Atlanta Silverbacks. And the rain has finally eased up here. It really came down on us this evening. Well, not on us, but on the players, on Steve out on the field a little bit. But it was a good night as Tomlinson, in perhaps his last appearance as a professional, raises the trophy there at the end of the game.
Yeah, nice to see for Tomlinson, his 9th year as a Sounder, a veteran of this team.
In a city that knows a thing or two about confrontations and coronations, Major League Soccer's 12th season comes to a close. Yesterday, legendary RFK Stadium welcomed familiar footballing foes and faces as the fans of the Revolution began their long march to Washington. Today, the maze-like streets of our nation's capital gave way to motorcade